Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the 71st Hour podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie, joined by, as always, Nathan. How's it going, Nathan? You good?
Pretty good. I'm good.
And a special guest for the second time, it's Luka. Hey, Luka.
Hey, what's up?
There he is. It's a better setter, you know. He's
Back
got books
by
back
popular
there.
demand.
Look at all those books. He's a smart boy.
The smart boy. Yeah, so, I mean,
They're
last
just
time we
picture
said
books.
that... What's that, sorry?
They're just picture books.
Oh, well, you know. I was gonna say last time we said that you were the new Nathan, but I guess now you're the new setter. I guess that's how you're morphing.
I'm a chameleon, baby.
Yeah. Okay. How has your week been, guys? It's been a good week. It was nice having Tuesday off though, right? That was good.
Yeah, we got another
That was
public holiday
nice.
coming too.
Yes, on Monday.
Tasty.
I kind of wish they didn't like bundle them so close together though.
Or
Like, spread
bundle
out a
them
little
really close, like so close that it's over an entire week.
Yeah, no, actually, that'd be better. Yeah, just put them 5 days.
One whole week
one
off.
week in the middle of the year.
Public week
just
off,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Public week.
No, there's no supermarkets open. Just everything is
For an entire week.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's just
Deal with it.
complete anarchy for a week. But yeah, no, I had a good week too. It was good. It was good having that. I would have preferred it being on a Wednesday because I feel like starting work on Monday and then immediately having a day off is like weird.
Sucks. Yeah.
Starting it again, I don't know.
Mm.
But you know, while we've been working away, toiling away at the old, I don't
The
know
old
what to
ball
say.
and chain, dude.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. The gaming's been moving. You know, it's been moving and shaking. And this week, we're gonna get the new Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and to celebrate that, Luka thought it would be a good idea if we talked about what our dream Star Wars game would be. So I'm thinking like we're talking about which Star Wars era. We're saying, are we doing Jedi? No Jedi? What's the genre? Are we going AAA? Are we going indie? And what game studio should make it? Who wants to start? I'm happy to start. I've got something
I think
teed up.
since it was Luca's idea, but if you want to go,
I'm happy to go second.
Let me paint you a picture.
Paint it.
It's the Clone Wars.
I love it.
I get full screen.
You do get center stage. You get
It's the clone. You cut away from me when I did my hand gesture. It's the Clone Wars. You are the commander of a clone battalion. You are sent off to your own system, and you have to command your clone battalion against the separatist forces. In this new by Firaxis.
Okay, I was waiting for it. I was like, it's definitely gonna be like
it's basically XCOM but Star Wars.
Wait, no, dude, that's such a fucking good idea because like
actually good.
From the small amount of time that I played Midnight Suns, I was like, man, like these guys know how to like adapt the Marvel property, and I think them adapting the Star Wars property into like, yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be really cool. So like, are we pulling any popular clone characters, or is it its own kind of thing?
It would be, I think this one, it's like, whereas Midnight Suns, they have to obviously change the whole like format to be more aligned with superheroes. I think with Star Wars, Clone Wars especially, you can just take that XCOM formula and it'll work brilliantly. Like one of the most popular XCOM mods is a clone trooper mod. Because
oh really? I don't know about that.
Yeah, because in my mind, you would have your little clone guys. You can design your own ones, outfit them with the different style helmets or whatever, and add certain cosmetics. And then you send them out into the battle in groups of 4 to 6. And then some of them might die, some of them might get injured, some of them might develop PTSD and they come back. Then you do your base building, then you do your like wartime strategy management, and then you send more troops out onto missions.
I need this game. Like, I actually need it. The more you talk about it, the more I'm like,
well, boy, do I have modded XCOM 2 for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's a really good point. But the thing is, like, so when with the clone mod for XCOM 2, are you fighting droids?
No, you're still fighting aliens. Okay. But hey, there's aliens in Star Wars.
There are aliens in Star Wars, that's true, but not as savage as the XCOM aliens, I feel.
No, but that would be part of my dream Clone Wars XCOM game, whatever it is that you're fighting droids. They're the main enemies, but then every now and again, because the levels are procedurally generated on like big maps, kind of the magic of XCOM is that anything can happen at any moment. So say you're fighting a bunch of droids, and then all of a sudden this massive monster comes in that turns out it's been roaming around the map the entire time, and it just found you, and you better hope it goes for the droids.
Right. Yeah, dude, I
It's
like that. I like that a lot.
Wild third party added to the mix.
Yeah, I dig that. Do we? No Jedi, no Sith, right? We're not doing any of that. Just pure clones.
Maybe there's like Sith bosses or something like that.
Right. I mean,
Maybe
I'm trying to think in the Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars era, there was only Palpatine and Count Dooku, right? And Grievous.
Wasn't there? Maybe they weren't Sith, but I'm not super brushed up on Clone Wars lore. But what about like Asajj Ventress and shit like that?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good
Were
point.
they Sith, or was she just? Did she just have lightsabers?
She was technically Sith, but it was always like, I don't know. I can't remember actually where she kind of came from. I mean, she was originally in the 2D Clone Wars show, and then I guess they just kind of put her into the 3D Clone Wars show. But I can't remember where she actually like. I'm sure there's a backstory episode that I'm forgetting from Clone Wars where you find out more about her. And even Grievous is like, you sort of hear a bit about his origins as well, but it was very weird when you like watch Attack of the Clones and then you go to Revenge of the Sith and it's like, boom, oh, there's a new fucking droid dude with 4 lightsabers and there's all these random new things and it's like, and then they had to bridge the gap, obviously. But yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of Sith like with like obviously the typical red lightsaber kind of deal. Because Maul is dead for a lot of that, but he, but then there's also Maul's brother as well. What is it, Savage? I think so. I don't know. I honestly haven't watched Clone Wars in ages, so I'm a little rusty as well when it comes to that. But no, I think that's a fucking awesome idea. I would love to see Firaxis do their own take on the Star Wars IP, just because like I feel like Midnight Suns was awesome. Midnight Suns was awesome, but like it just came out at a really bad time and wasn't marketed well, and then it kind of just like faded, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if they did like something new in the Star Wars universe to like, I don't know. I feel like people are clamoring more for Star Wars games because there's not as many of them, and I feel like if one gets announced, people are a little more excited. And also I feel like, as you said, the Clone Wars idea fits better with kind of the XCOM vibe, whereas Midnight Suns is a little more, not casual, but it's sort of got that. There's no permadeath or anything like that. So, yeah.
Hey, not gonna lie, actually sounds pretty wicked. XCOM Star Wars. I'd download that mod. I'd have to buy XCOM, but I'd buy it for that.
I'm sure it's free. I'm sure you got it for free at some point. I feel like I've got
probably.
XCOM 2 free in like 3 different services. Like it's just one of those games.
You gotta play. You gotta play War of the Chosen though. Although maybe that's too
expansion.
much for your first campaign, but it adds so much. And it's so
I think
good.
I bought
love
that expansion. I've got like XCOM 2 and the expansion, and I barely played it. It's like I'm fucking up. I played more of the XCOM like spin-off game they did, because I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that
dude, I'm
was
gonna get
alright.
into XCOM, and then what was that called? XCOM
Chimera Squad.
Chimera Squad. That's
It was alright, but
yeah.
it didn't have the consequences.
It didn't have the consequences, but I think that was actually better for me because I was just getting into XCOM, so I was like,
True.
it was a little bit more of like a entry point. But I've got to play XCOM 2. I hear too many good things about it, and I do dig that gameplay. Even though I'm not really a strategy person, like I know I will like XCOM 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Nathan, do you have any more to say about your game, Luka? Before we,
No, that's pretty much it.
awesome. I'm actually very impressed because I was like, oh, dude, we're all just gonna do like third person, like open world games. So I'm glad there's a little bit of variety. Nathan, I want to know what your Star Wars dream game is.
Okay, you got to let me cook here. I've got extensive
Wait, is it
notes.
gonna be like you're having in the first half? Like where are we going with this? Like,
No, okay, I've got notes. Because I was like, what is sort of Star Wars game that I would like to see? And then I just thought about games that I like to play. So I decided to just like write a trailer in my head.
perfect. I love it.
And this is how
Everyone close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes and just experience it.
Focus now. Let me cook.
Focus.
So I wrote, this is a total pipe dream that sounds like it came from a 10-year-old. And pretty much
I love it. I love it. No, that's perfect. That's the perfect Star Wars game, dude. It's like the idea. I remember when I was a kid and like thinking of like, oh, dude, what if they did like this Star Wars game? Like, of course, yeah, no, totally. Cook.
Yeah, all right, I'm cooking. So starts off like Skyrim. You're coming from a black screen and you awaken, finding yourself a prisoner to the galactic empire. Sorry, I'm getting text messages. Shush phone.
Right.
So, is this part of it?
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
getting text messages. Also,
Character
I just want
across
to
from
say
you
quickly,
says,
you've got an arrow
yes.
on your face.
Huh?
There's an arrow on the screen. There's a guy.
Huh?
How
It
long
was
has
just
that
like
been
right
there?
on your. It was like, yeah, it's gone now. I don't know. It was just there. Did you see that, Luca? There was
Yeah,
like
I
a.
saw that. That's definitely there.
Anyway, cook. I want to
Okay.
hear the. I
Stop,
wanna hear the-
Weird.
just stop cutting to me.
Yeah, there it is. It's there. Do you
Where?
see it?
It's
Oh, it's gone
back.
again. You're moving it.
Whose mouse is that?
It's gone.
What do you? I think it. Okay,
There's
I
a
think it's just
cursor
you guys. I
on
don't think
your
it's in the
screen.
recording. I think it's just
Oh, okay.
on my screen. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay,
fine.
okay. Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, because it's OBS. Like, it wouldn't show the.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay,
we look
anyway.
so schizo right now. We're like, I see it. I see it.
Don't you dare cut this.
No, we're not. No, we don't cut anything.
This is part of the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. We got nothing from these episodes, no matter how scuffed it is.
It's the
Okay.
show.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'll
go.
start. Okay, so it starts off like Skyrim, coming from a black screen, and you awaken, finding you're a prisoner of the galactic empire. Character across from you says, "Hey, you! Finally awake."
Yep.
Okay.
Uh huh.
You were trying to get off planet, right? Anxiety grows in the prisoner transport as whispers of
Ooh.
execution grow louder. Fast forward to your execution. A red lightsaber wielding character is about to strike you when suddenly their lightsaber halts in the air. They can't move it no matter how hard they try. War cries can be heard as a group of what appear to be Jedi who survived Order 66 storm the compound. You avoid execution and you attempt to escape the compound, but a group of stormtroopers has caught you. They fire on you with their blasters. You cower away, awaiting the pain, but it never comes. You look back up. The orchestra goes mental. You've stopped the blaster bolts midair, finding out you're
Now-
force sensitive.
Now, is the orchestra diegetic or non-diegetic?
I don't know what the fuck that means. It
Is
came
that
out-
we
actually
didn't
an
do music
orchestra
class, man.
in the game setting? Diegetic,
No.
that's film language, not
Oh,
music language.
I did like one fucking film course. Like, at uni, dude. I don't remember shit.
No, it's music in the game. It's not real. Diegenic, is that what it is? Okay, anyway, yeah. So
Yeah.
you find out you're force sensitive, and then title screen, Bethesda presents The Elder Scrolls Jedi.
Wait, they're calling it the Elder Scrolls Jedi. No. I'm just imagining like if wait, so is it diegetic is in the universe and non-diegetic is
yeah.
So I'm imagining if it's diegetic, there's just a stormtrooper with a drum in the background, just hammering.
That might be better, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just like a stormtrooper marching band in the background.
So is that your whole pitch?
That's my whole pitch, dude. That's the trailer to the
Okay,
game.
so I'm-
The
okay,
Elder
so-
Scrolls Jedi.
I
I'm gonna
need
say
I
it.
need more answers.
That's
So
bad.
I have them.
okay, good. Okay.
Oh, he has them. Okay.
He's got the answers. He's got all the answers. So it's open world,
Uh-huh.
first person.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, okay, you're force sensitive. You just found out in
Right.
like the first hour of the game.
So we're gonna be like Finn, where they totally cut that in the second game.
No, this is the journey of you becoming a more strong force sensitive user.
Right.
Yes.
Are you
I'm not
wielding
sure.
Okay, so if you're force sensitive but not a Jedi, are you wielding a white lightsaber? Are you like a gray Jedi?
I don't know actually. I mean,
Okay.
I guess my idea is that you find like remnants of the Jedi Order throughout the game, and you kind of just like use what you can get, like what you can get your hands on.
Are we meeting classic characters? Like I'm thinking in that era, like we do have Cal Kestis. He's at play. Luke.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So
That's actually one of my concerns. Is that this sounds a lot like the story of Fallen Order. The
true,
only
but you're in
difference is
first
how
person and it's
how
my
already knew
first
how to
person.
use the Force. Okay.
Now, how
sure.
many bugs am I witnessing in the first 30 minutes of the game?
Unplayable.
Unplayable, perfect.
how
And
many
somehow it's going to get
insects
like an
am I
88
witnessing?
Metacritic, and it's going to be a game of the year contender, and it's going to run like shit. I love it. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly. How many piece sets? As many as
How
you
many-
can fit
how
before
many-
you can not go
how many-
above 30
How
anymore.
many insects? It was a run on how many bugs? It was meant to be funny.
Yeah, I
But
see
the
what you're
time has
doing. Yeah, how
passed.
many
Move on.
insects? Yeah, gotcha.
Move on.
So where is it set? What's the location?
Yeah, shit. See that's I didn't really come up with like
Mhm.
an idea for that. I thought like any planet that is newly under like Empire control.
Let's
I
hope
thought
it's not
that would work.
Tatooine. Please don't be. Can you imagine being set on Tatooine? It's just like it's just desert. Like there's just no landmarks. There's just like you've got Mos Espa and Mos Eisley, like, and that's it. There's just no other locations. I mean, I guess
No
there's
desert.
quite a few there. Okay, so man, I'm thinking like you could set it on Kashyyyk, you know,
That could be cool. Yeah.
because you got like the
Again.
whole what?
Fallen
No,
Order.
I know.
Already
but-
on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, I know, but like Kashyyyk's cool, and there's a lot of variety in like the. I feel like there's a lot you can do. You could do like an Avatar thing, you know, where there's like different tribes of Wookiees and they've got different kind of cultures. I don't know. I don't know much about Kashyyyk and the Wookiee culture, so I'm not sure if they're really that tied down or if they're like it's kind of separated. You know what I mean? Like you could have like the water Wookiee tribe. I don't know, man.
Are you talking like Avatar Way of the Water? Like they
Yeah, exactly what happens in that. I'm totally just taking that idea and applying it to Wookiees in fucking Elder Scrolls Jedi. I love the name, by the way. I think it has to be that. Like you
Yeah,
you
it
just
does.
like randomly tie these two IP together for no apparent reason. I think that's perfect. So okay, so and also the thing is like, so Bethesda's working on Starfield right now, right? And then they're doing Fallout, or then they're doing Elder Scrolls 6, and then they're doing Fallout 5. So are we playing this game in like 2060?
No, they've been working on this in the background. It's coming out next year.
Holy shit. So wait, they've been
whoa.
making 2 star adjacent games at the same time. They've been doing
Exactly.
Elder Scrolls Jedi. I like how they've also announced Elder Scrolls 6, but then Elder Scrolls Jedi comes out first. It's just like a total fuck you to everyone really excited for ES6. They're like, yeah, we know you're really excited for Elder Scrolls 6, but we've been working with Lucasfilm and LucasArts to make Elder Scrolls Jedi. And also the opening is literally shot for shot from Elder Scrolls 5. It's basically a mod, but we know, please be excited. And it's going to be 125 Australian dollars. Please buy our game. It's also not on Game Pass for some reason. Like they just didn't release it on Game Pass because they know people are going to buy it no matter what.
Another thing I wanted to query, you said you're rescued by a group of Jedi who survived Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not feel like by adding even more Jedi who somehow survived the supposed genocide of the Jedi, you're kind of watering that event down?
Yeah,
No, it's
okay.
perfect.
Look, I had to come up with an excuse of him to be able to get out of there. And it was
That's a
like,
good point.
you
Not,
can't use dragons.
Rebels.
Oh, that might have worked. No, but
yeah, but I
I
mean,
feel like
you need the mentors, you know? Maybe just one mentor. You probably don't need like a 15 mentor.
yeah,
Jedi
my idea
running
was
in.
that there was one mentor and that
Yeah.
like you learn through finding like shit throughout the game. But in regards to that, I wanted it to be shot for Skyrim, so I needed like the hammer to be about to come, like the axe to be about to come down.
So yeah, so it's just a lightsaber. They just,
Yeah, it
they
needed
just
to
like bloop,
stop.
replace
Yeah.
it. I like to think it's even just the animations are exactly the same. Like it's just an asset swap of that sequence completely. Like there's no, it's basically a remaster of Skyrim, but now with Star Wars assets.
Keeping
I
like
love
the
that.
really shit animation from like 12 years ago.
Yeah, dude, 2011 animation. And somehow the graphics are worse than Skyrim as well. Like they've just like cobbled it together. Like it's what they've been working on their weekends. They're just like, oh, we'll just work on this, see if it works. They just release it.
So I'm asking for 250,000 for 1% of my company.
Perfect.
What? Sharks?
Jamie, what's your pitch?
You want to hear my pitch? Okay.
Yeah, moving
So
on. From
here's the thing. I would really love, and despite how season 3 went, I think they should make a Mandalorian game. But I don't want them just to like do the typical like action adventure, like not do like Star Wars 1313, where they were going to do like Boba Fett sort of Uncharted style game. I want them to look at The Witcher 3 and say, we're going to do that, but with a Star Wars coat of paint. Because I really like in Witcher 3 the monster hunts. And so I imagine if you're a Mandalorian, you're a bounty hunter, you take these bounties and then you go out in the world and there's a lot of exploration. But I still think that the world can't be like the same size as like what Witcher 3 has. I think you need to do like sort of similar to what Star Wars Jedi does, where you have like these mini kind of open world sections. I guess similar to Tomb Raider as well, where it's like there's like these maps all connected together, but instead of that, it's different planets. Because I feel like planet hopping is kind of part of Star Wars. Like I think you lose something if you don't have the location changing. And yeah, I just really want. It doesn't even have to be Mandalorian, because like I feel like Disney's very protective of that IP. Like they don't want specifically Din Djarin to do anything in a game that isn't happening in the TV series. So just replace it with any bounty hunter.
Jamie,
Yeah.
what I'll say is that my second pick for Dream Star Wars game is exactly that.
Nice.
I was literally floating that idea around.
And I actually think that is someone's developing this game. I think this game is being made. I think after Mandalorian season 1 came out and was like a massive hit, I think Disney and Lucas Arts were like, okay, we need to capitalize on this through like a multimedia kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who knows how long it'll take to come out? I don't know if it's going to be necessarily like Din Djarin and Baby Yoda. I don't know if they're ever going to do that, but I think there'll be like a Mandalorian character.
I think it's a slam dunk because Din Djarin is an RPG protagonist.
Totally.
That's true.
His game just hasn't come out yet, but he is like a man of few words.
Mm-hmm.
He always wears a helmet, so you don't have to worry about facial animations or what he looks like underneath.
True.
He's got that gruff kind of persona, but he's likable. Like a Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah.
You can literally, when you're watching Mandalorian, you can almost see the dialogue options pop up when he's talking to someone.
And even like the episodes are structured like a game, like a side mission, especially like season 1 and season 3, where like there's like episodes where it's just a side quest, where it's just like this random thing, like it's like a monster of the week kind of thing. So you can totally translate that to an open world third person RPG. I think where I differ from where a lot of people would go, like I feel like people are going to be like, I want Rockstar to make it. I want CD Projekt Red to make it. People who do open world RPGs, I want to see id Software make this game, because I really want to see id Tech in an open world setting. I want to see if it can do it. Like if it's, because that engine is it's like magic, right? Runs beautifully, looks beautiful, runs on anything. Like I feel like anyone can just play a Doom game, and I'm not sure how well I'm sure the engine is fine tuned for like level based gameplay, but I really want to see like id Software do something different, like try something new. Because I think like Mandalorian would have a lot of gunplay. id Software really great at gunplay. I'm not sure how they go at a third person game, but I think they're super, super talented, and I'd love to see them try something new, do something different. And they got the Microsoft money, So, yeah. I don't know.
Would it have Well, first of all, my question, would it have a lot of gunplay, or would it be like a mix? Because he does have the spear and like the Darksaber as well.
True. Yeah, and he even, without spoiling stuff from season 3, there is melee stuff happening in season 3 as well, separate from those two weapons. I feel like gunplay is important for a Mandalorian character, because like typically they are using guns. I think they sort of like in the TV show they mix it up with melee combat to be like really close to the fight. Yeah, I think it would have to, the gunplay would be additive rather than like the sole kind of mode of gunplay of combat. But I think they're up for it, man. I think it would be cool as hell to see id try something new like that. And there is a sword in Doom Eternal, so it's nearly there.
True,
it's totally separate from what they've done before, but I want them to make more cool shit, to be honest. And I don't necessarily want them just to work on Doom and Quake for the rest of their lives. So
I just wanted a good idea from something you said.
Mm-hmm.
So you said Monster of the Week. Now I'm imagining weekly quests where you kill monsters, and it's a looter shooter.
And you're like attaching, like, oh, you got new best level 7 Beskar armor. Your gear score is now 310. You can
Yeah,
do
let's
the
not do
raid.
that.
You can do the raid of the week where you go to the Imperial Academy or some shit. I don't know. And no, it's cursed that I'm even thinking about this, but oh god, I hope they don't do that. I hope
No.
they if there is a Mandalorian game, which I still think is actually happening. Yeah, God, please not another. Please. We don't. Here's the thing about RPGs, right? Is I feel like we've gone from what RPGs used to be to just being like blues and greens and legendaries and exotics, and it's like that's not like Skyrim doesn't have that shit. There's no rarity in Skyrim. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah, no,
just
not at
not.
all.
It's just you got better gear. Like, there's not like 7 different rarities of the same kind of gear like there is in the newer RPGs. You know, like I'm thinking about like Assassin's Creed or.
I think it started with Assassin's Creed Origins like that. Obviously, that's not where that system started, but it's when open world games really started like adopting that system.
I wonder why. Like, I mean, I guess it sort of worked in Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, I think it was fine, but then they sort of like took it too far with like Odyssey and Valhalla, which I didn't even play much of, to be honest. Yeah, man. I to me, it just seems a little like it's a bit cheap. Where like it's sort of the easy way to kind of make a satisfying progression system where like the player sees the numbers going up and they're like, I'm making progress, but it doesn't. It's like artificial progress. You know, it doesn't feel like you're actually like. It's not like your gameplay is getting better. It's just you're more powerful, so you take less damage when you get hit, and you do more damage to the enemy. So it doesn't really feel super satisfying that way.
Yeah, like your weapons aren't doing anything cool, or they're just doing the same thing but better.
Yeah,
really.
it's not like your mechanical skills getting better. It's just your artificial, just like health and damage is getting better. And I feel like it's weird because this sort of I mean, obviously Diablo 2 or Diablo 1 or 2 was like the first time they did this kind of rarity system. And then Destiny obviously has a rarity system, but I think Destiny is a little bit different where like a lot of the hard, like really hard content, you can't just depend on your gear score. Like, and a lot of the time you're actually like specifically docked down on gear score. So it is more about mechanical skill. Whereas a lot of RPGs are like, no, we want you to get as OP as possible. So by the end, you're one-shotting enemies and nothing's really a challenge. And I mean, I kind of dig, like, I'm not totally against that. Like, I think that's part of what RPGs, like, makes RPGs cool is that you just get progressively more powerful. And by the end, you're just like completely wrecking shop. But I think that just the number system is a bit like boring now to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, it's a bit overdone now. It's just been done too many times.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think it just doesn't need to, like, in single player games, it feels weird. Like, I think gear score is a good way to show in multiplayer games like someone's kind of tenure in a game. Like, if they've got a high gear score, they probably play a lot, so you can probably depend on them for advice and stuff. But in a single player game, you really don't need that as like a baseline to know like how you're doing. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, now that we've gone through our Star Wars games, we should get into the hot fixes.
We should. Are you guys ready to get legal? Some legal
legal time.
Yeah, dude. Jared Leto is not gonna like us now.
Wait, what?
What?
Jared Leto is like a weirdo. He's a weird dude.
Hey,
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I said let's get legal, and I said Jared Leto wouldn't like us now because. Anyway, don't worry.
Is that because he's talking to underage women?
Yes, exactly. You got it. We got there eventually. Because we're legal
yeah,
now.
gotcha.
It's just you know what?
Yeah. No,
dude, Jared Leto's coming after me now, dude. First, Morbius 2 didn't get made, and now some random guy on a podcast is talking shit. Anyway, when I say we're talking legal, we're talking about the UK blocking Microsoft's $69 billion Activision deal, which happened last night. So kind of good timing on that. So I don't know where we want to start here. Do we want to start with what the CMA said, the Competition and Markets Authority said, or should we just talk about like top level thoughts immediately from this?
Let's quickly go over what they said.
Sure.
And then
I'm not going to read the entire thing.
Yeah,
I'm literally just going to read like the first paragraph, and then I can take bits from the other paragraphs. But
yeah, that sounds good.
So the Competition and Markets Authority has prevented Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision over concerns the deal would alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. And then they kind of talk about Microsoft's position currently in cloud gaming. So they mention that Microsoft as a company already accounts for an estimated 60 to 70% of global cloud gaming services. And they also have other important strengths in cloud gaming, that's from owning Xbox, having the leading PC operating system in Windows, and a global cloud computing infrastructure being Azure and Xbox Cloud Gaming. Basically, they're just saying that like Microsoft has invested a lot in cloud technology. That's probably as far as they've kind of gone into making their case. And I do have a few other points that just seem weird to me. Like, what do you guys think off the top of that? Like, this deal is being blocked because Microsoft has invested a ton in cloud infrastructure. Like, that's essentially what they're getting at. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point of that whole like authority, that law thing, is to stop monopolies from happening because they already own so much of the infra. They're scared that they might get to close to 100% or, you know, close to a threshold where they're not, well, competitors or smaller competitors at least aren't able to come into the market anymore.
Sure.
But
sort of my argument to that though is that
your camera's so fuzzy.
So fuzzed, man. Fuzz the fuck up.
That's right. We continue, dude.
Could you hear me? No, you maybe make it the 3 window. Does that look better? Does that look a little bit better? Instead of all the fully zoomed in? The 3 of us.
We'll just leave it for a minute and see if it fixes itself. It usually does in like a minute or so.
So I was gonna say, like, so Paul Tassi, who writes about gaming for Forbes, he tweeted this, and I thought this was very funny to me, right? So he said, cloud gaming is such a competitive space that Google Stadia collapsed so hard it had to refund everything anyone ever owned. Almost no one has ever heard of Amazon Luna. Like, neither of these things have to do with Microsoft. Like, that's the problem, right? Is like this 60 to 70% gain is because so many companies have failed in this market.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So
also, Amazon what?
Amazon has a cloud gaming infrastructure called Amazon Luna.
I've never heard of that.
And you've never heard of it. Exactly. This is my point. Yeah. Like, it's not because like this 60 to 70% isn't Microsoft doing anything to like increase their position. It's their competitors failing epically to make any kind of foothold in this industry. And I guess you can make the argument that like Microsoft owning Activision-Blizzard and owning this IP would then further continue their like triumphant run through the cloud gaming sector. But like, dude, Amazon has like AWS, like they're good to go. Google's got their cloud infrastructure. Like it's not like these companies don't have the means to do this. It's just they don't have I don't know. I honestly think they don't have the gaming know-how, to be honest. Like, we've seen how Amazon has sort of mismanaged Twitch for so many years, to me at least. And Google, you know, Stadia, man. Like, that's all that needs to be said, to be honest. Luka, what do you think, though?
I don't know. I think, yeah, it's a very new kind of aspect of technology, and people are going to be trying and failing. And I think it's not as if Microsoft competition are the little guys. Like, we're talking about Amazon and Google, and I'm sure Apple is going to put their finger in the pie at some point. Like, but at the same time, like, it is important to stop monopolies, especially when it comes to new booming tech, because you don't know how that tech is going to get used and implemented into infrastructure in the future.
True.
So
I will say though, sorry, you go.
No, you go for it.
I was going to say, like, PlayStation has their own cloud infrastructure as well. You know, they've got PlayStation Now, which I believe is now been rolled into their PlayStation Plus service, in a similar way to that. Xbox Cloud Gaming is within Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, I think. So it's not like these other. It's not like Microsoft has wiped out the competition. I feel like a lot of the competition has wiped themselves out. And it's not like they're not trying to allow other cloud companies to have these games on their platforms. Like, they already made a deal with Nvidia for GeForce Now. They made 2 other deals with international companies, I believe mainly in Eastern regions. So like Boosteroid and Ubisoft. I've never heard of these companies before either. But they already made deals saying, hey, for 10 years, Bethesda games, Activision-Blizzard games, they're going to be we're allowing that to be on your servers, and Xbox games too. So I'm not really sure where kind of the CMA is getting this from, that Microsoft's like taking these IP for themselves, where like they're still allowing these IP on other platforms and other cloud platforms, you know?
When you put all that together, it definitely doesn't seem like they're trying to be like ultra competitive about it. And also, I think that even like for small companies and cloud gaming, I think it is an extremely difficult thing to even start a business in, unless you're Microsoft, Google, Amazon, because they've already got all that infrastructure. So they're able to launch something like this, not on the cheap, but cheaper than anyone else is going to be able to do it, because they own the servers. But if a small company is going to come along and try and do this, they've got to basically rent that same infrastructure from them for an upmarked cost. Not saying that this is any reason for them not to have passed this deal, but I think just in general, it is a very competitive market, given the fact that these companies already have such a foothold in our global infrastructure.
Totally. And I will say, like, the CMA did have a response to sort of these deals that Microsoft's made. And so they said, we do not consider that the agreements Microsoft has entered into with NVIDIA, Boosteroid, and Ubisoft change this, as we consider there is material uncertainty around the scope, terms, and enforceability of these agreements. They also only apply to a few existing cloud gaming service providers, rather than to a full spectrum of actual and potential rivals. So they're sort of saying like potential rivals, like that just means like companies that could exist in the future. Like it's weird to have this like sort of this emphasis on they need to just say that these games are going to be on any potential cloud gaming service ever in the future, and just like no company makes a deal like that.
Yeah, that's true. Not like they're not even doing that with Sony.
No one's ever going to say like, for in perpetuity you can have our games on your service. Like, no, they always do this in like chunks, right? And then they reapply the deals afterwards.
Yeah.
Because no company would be dumb enough to be like, yeah, you can have Call of Duty on your platform literally forever and ever and ever. Because like, why would you do that? You know, why would you enter an agreement that way? You know, what if the uncertainty of like, I don't know, what if Call of Duty stops being, what if Microsoft stops making Call of Duty? Like, I mean, I'm sure maybe that's a clause in their agreement, but like, they would have to keep making it in forever, right? Because there's this agreement that, hey, Microsoft needs to release Call of Duty on our platforms forever. So I don't know. It's sort of strange wording, and I sort of agree with them in saying like the enforceability of the agreement, sure, like maybe Microsoft could be like, it's only for 10 years, and then after the 10 years be like, no, we're not going to do it anymore. Maybe they do that. But I still also think that like 10 years is probably enough time for a company like Sony to invest in making a competitor to Call of Duty. Like, I don't think Call of Duty is, you know, obviously Call of Duty is a massive property, but I don't think it's the be all end all. Like, I don't think having Call of Duty is like having this golden goose that will never ever run out.
It kind of is a golden goose of the casual market, though.
Sure, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. Like, it is declining, though. I feel like a lot of the mentality behind Call of Duty is lowering than what it used to be. Like, I mean, even and it's very temperamental. Like, there'll be ups and downs, of course, but even right now with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, like, people are just jumping off the game. Like, the amount of people that are playing it on, you know, I'm taking from like Steam numbers. It's declining pretty rapidly because people aren't happy with how the game is. And you know, of course, that'll probably rise up again when the new Call of Duty game comes out this year. But I don't know. I don't know if Call of Duty, like, you've got competitors like Fortnite, you've got Apex to a lesser extent. Like, there's stuff out there that is a genuine competitor to Call of Duty, and something that people do take note of. And it's not like as I said, it's not like Microsoft's like, no, we're hoarding this for ourselves, and no one will have Call of Duty on their platform ever again. They're making these agreements. You know, And I will say with this, this deal, obviously it's blocked now. They're going to appeal it, but if it eventually does like fall out, it means that like these cloud companies will not get these Activision-Blizzard games. It means Nintendo won't get Activision-Blizzard games. Like, I think you're also, by blocking the deal, you're unintentionally blocking these games from platforms that would otherwise get them. So like, where they're saying like, we want more options for UK gamers, you're actually decreasing the options by blocking the deal. So I don't know. It's sort of weird kind of, like, I genuinely don't believe that like this is for a forward thinking idea, because is the whole internet infrastructure going to change in 10 years realistically in every country?
Yeah, probably not.
Like, and even, people would say, well, the speeds aren't fast enough in America. America's fucked by data caps. Like, I saw a bunch of people complaining about Star Wars Jedi Survivor being like 150 gigs because like that's like a tenth of their monthly cap.
People still have data caps in the modern age? What?
Damn.
Dude, it's all, we're the outlier. It is all over the UK and the US. People
it's
having
because
like,
we have dog shit speeds, so we can't use anything close to it.
Exactly. But even then, like our speeds are bad in comparison, but I feel like they're pretty fine now. Like they're manageable.
Yeah.
I
think
even
we do
100
have data
down
caps.
is-
They're just like ridiculously high. They're not written into your contract, but it's like one of those things where it's like if you use this much, you'll be rate limited at a certain point. But
I
it's
think
a lot.
I think they've only got like 1 to 2 terabytes a month. Like
that's not
actually
much.
that. Yeah. And it's like, you have to also imagine like the ISPs aren't going to change their entire business model. Like they want to give you ridiculously fast speeds, but a terabyte is not enough to be regularly cloud gaming. And they're not going to change how that works because they're just trying to get you into paying more every month because you're going over your caps. Like then you've got to like regulate how ISPs work, and that's, I mean, maybe that'll happen, but
I'll never do that.
Probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty ridiculous. So I don't know, man. It seems like a weird thing to attack, to go after. Like I totally understand not wanting there to be like a gigantic, massive market leader when there's this early kind of technology. You want it to be a little more stabilized, but at the same time, is cloud gaming ever going to be the future of gaming realistically? Or are people going to always not like that there's like a few more milliseconds of lag? Or I don't know, your ISP blocks like is rate limiting you and you can't play your single player game at the frame rate and resolution you'd like. Like there's a whole lot of factors that I think just make cloud gaming not, at least for me, not something that I'd want to just like invest in and be like all in on. And that's why I think Stadia kind of failed, because there were too few people with the internet, the infrastructure, the data caps to maintain only playing cloud games. So
you've given me a terrible idea.
Right.
Tiered subscription prices. You pay the bottom tier, you get 30 FPS, 1080p.
My brother
the
in
next
Christ,
tier-
Nvidia's already doing that.
Yeah, they already have that.
Oh
already
my god,
do it.
actually. Oh shit.
It's literally
Well-
like you have like I think there's 2 tiers for Nvidia. What's GeForce's? What's Nvidia's?
GeForce Now?
GeForce Now, yeah. So if you get the premium plan, you get into the express queue to play your game.
Oh yeah, there's queues. That's right. Yeah.
And you get 4K 120 FPS. So if you're in the top tier, you're playing on a computer with a RTX 4090 or 4080 actually. And if you're playing on like the lower tier, you're on like a 3080, and then below that is like a mid-range PC. So not technically saying you're going to get this resolution with this frame rate, but technically, those computers will only run at a certain, level. So yeah, it's already a thing. You've already that
Looks
dark
like,
future has already been created.
Corporations beat me to it. Well done.
Also, I think that reason you just brought up alone is enough for me to never want a cloud game, is having to wait in a queue to play my single player game. Like,
Dude,
what?
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, exactly. And even like what it, and also to play like a single player game. Like imagine being like logging on for the night and it's like number 1 or number 50 of like 100 people.
Oh.
And it's like you just got to wait for someone to get off eventually. They could play for like and also with GeForce Now, at least in Australia, it's timed. You've got a certain amount of time before you have it's only certain amounts of time. I can actually find it now. I'll show you. I'll tell you what it is.
That is some shit.
It's like lining up a theme park and then remembering that you have all the rides at home, so you can just go on anytime.
Pretty accurate. How long do you think about it is? Like an hour, 2 hours, or is it a bit more than that?
I think the lowest tier is an hour.
Whoa, shit, bro! What can you get done in an hour?
I don't know. It may and also it may have changed. Like I don't. This is what happened when I was like I got into the beta for it because I was like, oh sure, I'll see. Let's see the future, you know. And then I logged on and it's like in queue, and I was like, okay, future's not here yet. Let's leave. Like I'm not waiting in a queue to play like I don't know what game I was playing. I think it was Destiny 2. Because I was like, I wonder how the latency is on an FPS, and I guarantee it was not good, especially with Australian internet. And also like here's the thing, right? So an interesting stat. So last year, the games industry was a $180 billion industry. Guess how much of that portion was cloud gaming?
Or like not even $1 billion.
It was actually 1.72 billion.
Oh, okay.
So it was.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, is it though? Like, I can't
Compared
imagine
to the rest of gaming, no. But gaming is one of, if not the most profitable like industries in the world.
True, but I can't imagine this getting anywhere
pie.
close to like maybe it gets to like 10 billion by like 2030. But the VR industry is already at 11 billion. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
So
that's, yeah, I suppose there are commercial stuff as well. So that helps.
Yeah, totally. I just don't. I think they're betting. I think the CMA is betting on a future that is so far away that by the time it gets here, there'll be maybe Sony will be caring a little bit more about their cloud infrastructure. Maybe Apple will be in the game. Maybe Amazon will be, you know, in terms of cloud gaming, maybe Amazon's like Luna will be bigger than it is now. Maybe maybe Stadia is back.
Too.
You know? But like I like if Google failed, I can't imagine a smaller company succeeding in a way that Google didn't. You know what I mean? Like
Google fails all the time though.
That's true, but
they start new things, they don't follow through with them. They're like, let's try this. And it didn't work. All right, next thing.
Yeah, they got more than enough money to do that. They just throw shit at the wall till it sticks and they make trillions.
Yeah.
They definitely did not make trillions off Stadia. I think honestly where Stadia failed was that you had to pay a subscription, but then on top of that had to buy the games. So like
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you're paying like $100 for Red Dead Redemption 2, but you're also paying $15 a month on top of that. So and you're also paying for an experience that is less than what you'd get from playing it natively on like actually I mean to be fair, I think it was like you're probably playing it like 1440p and it probably was 60 FPS. But on
just
PC,
the delay more than anything, honestly.
It's just the delay. And also like Red Dead also has like just really bad input delay. Like if you go on like Nvidia's like their statistics on my PC with like Nvidia Reflex, it's still got like 50 ms just base, and that's with like already trying to nullify it. So I can't even imagine how much worse that would be on top of like network latency as well. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's very much in its infant stages, and I think that's why obviously the CMA is concerned about it. But I don't know necessarily if that's like the right move for cloud gaming. I don't know if the right move is to kind of try and disparage Microsoft from expanding. You know, like I think you kind of need a leader to kind of set the tone for what the industry is going to be, and they're sort of like they're not nullifying it, but they're sort of like knocking them down a peg in a way. We're being like,
for sure, yeah. I don't know, and it's upsetting that it's for Microsoft as well because they've been pretty like community forward and like actually
Totally.
consumer friendly, rather like as opposed to so many other people that have like similar products, but they're just. I mean, Microsoft's will be obviously in it for the money as well.
Of course.
They're a lot better than other people.
Yeah, let's not pretend they're a humanitarian organization.
Totally not. Yeah, totally. Of course, they're just a corporation and they don't care about us at all. But they have been. It seems like they're a little more consumer focused, or at least consumer. They understand what consumers want, and they can provide that more than what other companies do. At least a lot of gaming companies where they're just like, fuck it, loot boxes, all this bullshit, throw it at the wall. And to be fair,
except where it comes to first party games. Ayo.
yeah, that's true. I honestly think, here's the thing, right? If this Activision deal doesn't go through, all it means is that Microsoft's got like $70 billion spare that they can use to acquire smaller companies. Like, I think they lose this deal. They're like, okay, we're picking up Ubisoft. We're going to get EA. We're going to get CD Projekt Red. It's like, it's
They're
not like it's
go
going to
through the same thing again.
maybe, but I think it'll be less so. Because it won't, I think if they go for EA is probably pretty big, right? EA is probably maybe too big. It's almost,
I think so.
It's almost on that level, I think. But like you could grab like a studio. Yeah, exactly.
EA Sports is massive.
But also they could just do what Sony does and just buy up third party exclusives and just block them from being on PlayStation. Like they could just do that. They could just do what PlayStation does for Square Enix and be like, oh, you want to play Witcher 4? Sorry, it's only on Game Pass. Like they could play dirty if they really want to. Because like I do think it's funny that a lot of people were complaining that Microsoft was going to buy Activision-Blizzard, and it means that Call of Duty is like now it's Microsoft's baby, and it's like they're taking it away from PlayStation. But like, dude, PlayStation does that all the time with games. Like there's so many games that just take, and not even like it's like a year exclusivity. It's like no, it's not coming to any platform other than PlayStation for a very long time, or ever. So I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of like double standard sort of thing when it comes to exclusivity. Like if Microsoft got like Witcher 4 and was like, no, this is only on PC, Game Pass, and Xbox. Could you imagine the uproar about that? But you don't really see that with like Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake or like a lot of. I mean, to be fair, it's mainly Square Enix games because I think that's where I could see Sony buying them at some point, just scooping them up entirely. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Microsoft's trying to give more games to more people with their avenues. And I do think it's funny, like in the CMA report, they were like, cloud gaming is a great substitution for gamers to have like a cheaper option to play games as opposed to buying full price games. And it's like, you know about Game Pass? Like Microsoft's already doing that. Like they've already got that in place. Sony even has that with PS Plus. Like, I don't know. I just think there's a weird disconnect by like what they think the games industry is and what it actually is now. So I hope they maybe reconsider because it benefits us for sure. Obviously, we're all Game Pass subscribers. Yeah. But it also benefits us because like cloud gaming will even last night I said like in 5 to 10 years, cloud gaming will not be a big thing in Australia. Just scratch that. It's probably 20 years, man. Like
if ever, honestly, maybe never.
Ever. Like yeah, exactly. Like I think it's a valiant attempt by Microsoft to have cloud, Xbox cloud gaming in Australia, but it does not work well here at all. In any even like plugged in full like Ethernet port or on my phone, like it's just not a great experience, and it will not be that way for, as you said, maybe ever. So yeah, Microsoft having a monopoly on cloud gaming doesn't really bother me, to be honest. If that's the route they're going to go, I don't think that's how it would go anyway because they were making these deals. So yeah, I don't know. I got nothing more to say other than, unfortunately, we will not be playing Diablo 4 on Game Pass this year.
Not this year.
Maybe not at. Well, here's the thing, right? Microsoft could just grab Activision-Blizzard games and get deals with specific games to go on Game Pass, I guess. But maybe, I don't know if Microsoft doesn't really do that too much.
Yeah, not too often.
With big games especially.
Yeah.
Mainly like the AA sort of indie scene they do that with. But yeah. Any more closing thoughts on this? Or are we happy to move on?
I'm good.
Let's move on.
Cool. Let's talk about more Xbox stuff. I just realized what's next. So this is actually kind of an old-ish story, but I think it could spawn an interesting conversation. So apparently, Xbox is working on a mysterious franchise sequel that may take a decade to develop. So this information comes from an amended complaint in a lawsuit against Microsoft for its deal to acquire Activision-Blizzard. So yeah, this was from a while ago, but people picked up on it, and I thought it was interesting. So this is what the excerpt reads. Halo Infinite, a recent title from Microsoft's first-party Halo franchise, was in production, redacted, and costs almost, redacted, million to develop and bring to market. Other AAA games take even longer to develop. For instance, according to one Microsoft executive, Redacted, a forthcoming title from the Redacted franchise, may take a decade to develop. What do you think this game is? Like,
Here's my theory.
Uh-huh.
Microsoft saw gameplay from Tears of the Kingdom, and they went, "Oh fuck! Look at this open world sandbox. You're building all kinds of crazy vehicles. What do we have in our toolbox that can possibly match that?" And they went, "Aha! Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts 2."
Yeah, I could see that taking a decade to make. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Definitely, that would be one of the more difficult ones.
Real talk though, do you think there'll ever be a Banjo 3E? Do you think they're ever going to do that at some
Eventually,
point?
yeah. I think
I
so.
don't know.
I think
feel
it'll be lower budget. It'll be a side team of Rare.
I think Rare's got to make it, right? There's no way it could be someone else.
Yeah, it's gonna be Rare. It'll be a smaller team, but I think it'll happen at some point in some fashion.
I hope it does, but I don't know. I feel like that style of gameplay is almost like, I don't know, not ancient, but not modern enough anymore.
What was that side, the like not Banjo-Kazooie game that came out?
Oh,
With this
Ukulele.
chameleon. Ukulele. Should that team make it?
I didn't actually end up playing that, if I'm honest.
Ukulele.
I don't know if it was any good. Luka, did you
I
play?
heard the DLC was good. I didn't play it. No.
There was actually a sequel to Ukulele called Ukulele in the Impossible Lair. That was actually
I heard that was good.
Yeah, and that was a Donkey Kong Country style game. 2.5D
Like side
platformer.
scrolling 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
2.5D platformer, and apparently pretty fucking good. It's got had an 8.7 on IGN, 9.9 out of 10 from Steam. That's Steam user reviews, a 9 out of 10 from Nintendo Life. There you go. That came out in 2019. 2019. Man, I did not hear about this game. Or like I heard
Me
about the
neither.
name, but I didn't know what it was. Yeah. Ukulele in the Impossible Lair. I think that sounds like a U game, Nathan, to be honest.
Yeah, I might give that a
Donkey
go,
Kong
to be
Country.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on Game Pass.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was.
It left
yeah.
Game Pass on December 16th, 2021.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I did see it went. I thought that was the base game, if I'm honest, though.
Fair enough. Yeah, so since they've done that, maybe they're just going to keep going through like Rare games, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll do a James Bond, the GoldenEye kind of style game.
Wicked.
What about
with guns?
Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Oh,
Yeah, that needs to be done. Yeah,
Let's get that
someone needs to do
franchise
that.
back.
Is Conkers? Is that on Xbox now?
Um,
The original?
I think it might be, yeah, or it was on arcade or something like that.
Didn't they there's a Conkers game that was only on.
There's a remake of it on 360, wasn't there?
It was Conker Live and Reloaded. I played this fucking game. It was really bad. It was like a third-person shooter, I'm pretty sure. Right?
Shooter.
Oh no, it wasn't. Don't worry. Well, maybe. I don't know. He's got a gun on the box art, so I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I think that in the original he has that, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so there was a remaster on Xbox, the original Xbox, and I think that's on Xbox. You can play that now. There you go. Actually, Conker was in he showed up in some game for Xbox at some point. Project Spark. Do you guys remember? Do you know what Project Spark was?
What did that end up being again?
It was Microsoft's like make your game. Like it was sort of like dreams before dreams,
Yeah.
but it was super basic, and it came out in like 2014 and then was shuttered in like 2015. It did not go well. I guess the audience of like Xbox One users at that point were not interested in making their own kind of like kid friendly kind of games because it had a very like fun kind of aesthetic, and you couldn't kind of stray away from it. But Conker was in that game as like DLC, Like you could use him and make conquer levels or whatever. I don't know. Weird stuff. So I got to say, I don't think that this decade-long franchise game will be Banjo-Kazooie.
Or Conquer?
Or Conquer. I don't think so. I mean, I feel like it's got to be Elder Scrolls 6. Right?
Yeah, that would make sense. If it, like, yeah.
Because I think they're in pre-production.
If it's not like a, yeah. That would totally make sense.
Which is a bit disappointing. Because I kind of wish it was like a surprise game that we didn't know about.
Yeah, it's probably not the big exciting thing that everyone's like hoping it is. It's the thing that's already announced that's been sitting on the table for years at this point.
Yeah, when did they announce that? Because I mean, like it
was announced in 2019.
Yeah, so that timing may be about right when it comes out. To be honest with you, not 10 years from announcement, but like from when they started making it, about a little before that.
I wonder if they were, like, when it got announced, if they split off a team, like a small team, to start, maybe not even pre-production, but like start doing some meetings to work out what ES6 could look like.
Start doing some doodles.
Yeah, exactly. Get the whiteboard marker going.
Sketches,
just start putting some stuff down. Get some concept artists in there. See what. I mean, I'm sure they've got like a location in mind already. I mean, they showed a location in the teaser, whatever that is. I don't know. What was the rumor, Nathan? That where ES6, someone did like a whole analysis on where they, like the mountains and like where it makes sense in
like
Tamriel.
The Hammer Isles, I think, is what it's called. Something Isles.
Oh, it's like not Hammerfall. It's like I'm gonna look it up. This is gonna bug me.
Yeah, I'm not well versed with the whole map, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I also think I think ESO has gotten to the point where they've got the whole of Tamriel in Elder Scrolls
It's pretty
Online
damn
now.
close, I think. Yeah, if they haven't already.
And I don't think Hammerfall is in ESO, so it might be a thing where they're like, no, we don't put that in there because we don't want people getting bored of that location. We're gonna put it in Elder Scrolls 6. That's where it's gonna be set.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
What's Hammerfall is in ESO now, is it? It actually is. It actually is in Elder Scrolls Online already. But it was one of the beginning locations. So it's not like one of the DLC, so it's like a smaller kind of, it looks like. I'm not sure. ESO is a whole different beast. But yeah, probably Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls 6. And I believe this like information where it was all redacted came before Todd Howard said that they were going to make Fallout 5 after Elder Scrolls 6. So I guess it could be Fallout 5 maybe. It's probably one of the Bethesda properties because I feel like they're doing this thing where they're like, yeah, let's just plan this shit out for the next 20 years or whatever. Whereas Xbox has sort of got their own like lineup that's of games that isn't out yet. So I couldn't imagine them like, unless it's the next Halo after Infinite. I dread the day that they announce another Halo because like no one is going to be excited for that because they've fucked up 3 times, bro. Like, there's no way. I can't be tricked again. Like,
fool me once.
I probably will because they'll do this whole trail. Dude, the Halo Infinite. I don't know if you guys have watched it recently. The original Halo Infinite announcement looks fucking nothing like what Halo Infinite actually looks like now. Like graphics wise, locations. There's like fauna. There's like animals that are just not in the game. Like, I don't know what. And then they even came out and said like later being like, oh, that was just like a visualization of what we were planning at the time. It's like, fuck off. Don't show a visualization of what you're planning and say that this is the next Halo. Like,
and they didn't have a clause on it that said that. Like they always should.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, it was just an engine demo. It's like, well,
surely
that didn't say that. It did not. It said powered by Slip Space at the end. But
that was the same issue the original Watch Dogs trailer had when they announced that. Remember that massive like difference in graphics quality?
Ubisoft has got this thing where they just lie. When they show games, they're just lying, and they know they're lying. They're like, we cannot show this is. I mean, and to be fair, when I've heard some things about how E3 demos work, and a lot of the time it's like in the middle of development they basically split off to make the E3 demo. And so it's sort of like them trying to predict what their game will look and sound and feel like at the end of development. But they're starting to develop it like maybe a third of the way through their intended development cycle. So like that's why you get so many demos that are like, this is not how this game ended up, but it's what they were kind of hoping it would. And a lot of the time it's close enough, but it's not, graphics quality. Like even the Witcher 3 initial demo, Cyberpunk 2077 is another good example where they were like, well, we hope it looks like it's like this, and it just wasn't anything close to that. Witcher 3 was the same, where it was like, we hope it looks like this, and it just was. It looked significantly worse than what they showed, but I think that's just an issue with E3 demos, to be honest. But E3 Ubisoft is definitely a repeat offender when it comes to that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Game development is hard.
It is. I just wish they would, like, when they show a game, and I know they say not final, but like when the not final looks better than the final, it's like, okay, well, why? Like, it should probably look better in the final product, because you're saying not final as in like there might be issues, but like I don't take that as not final as in like it looks nothing like this at the end. Like it's not final because we have no idea how it's going to end up. Like, and I think that's also a symptom of like games being announced too early. And Ubisoft was really bad at that, where like every single press conference they did, they would always have to they set up this standard where they would end their press conference with a new kind of IP, a new game. And I feel like that really fucked them over, because they eventually got to a point where they're like, shit, man, like we've got Watch Dogs, we've got The Division, and then I think last year or 2 years ago they did like Avatar, something at Frontier or something. I don't know, the Avatar game they're working on.
Frontiers of Pandora, I think.
That's sounds right. That's meant to come out this year, by the way. Frontiers of Pandora. Will it? Probably not. I think any Ubisoft game that's announced right now, probably don't expect it this year. I think they also like, does Ubisoft even have like an E3 and not E3 thing this year?
I don't think they've said anything yet, have they?
Ubisoft Forward.
I think they're just keeping their head down and hoping that no one remembers that they exist.
June 12th, 2023, live from LA, Ubisoft Forward. Tune in on June 12th, 2023 for a new Ubisoft Forward live stream event featuring exciting news on upcoming games from our teams from around the world. There you go. So they are doing
Skull and Bones again.
Yeah.
Want to see that one again?
Can't wait to see that. Cannot wait to see that again.
Oh my god, I forgot about Skull and Bones. Holy shit.
It just got delayed to, well, this year it got delayed to Q1 2024, I think. I think that's around, it was like end of financial year 2023 / financial year 2024, I believe. So who knows? I honestly think that game, I still can't believe that game's not out yet. It's had a release date like 5 times. Like it is just constantly being delayed. It was meant to come out in March this year, and now it's delayed to like March next year. It's like when did this game get announced? It was like, it's been 5 years or some shit. 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Long time.
That's crazy. Anyway,
Speaking of Ubisoft, yeah?
Yeah, okay, yeah. We have no more thoughts, but yeah, let's fucking segue right over to Ubisoft showing off Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland. So I take it you guys have not heard about this game.
Nope, not before today.
There you go. So let me tell you, this is what Ubisoft says about The Division Heartland. The Division Heartland is a free-to-play PvEVP focused survival action shooter set in a mysterious rural town of Silver Creek. Explore and complete missions by day, take on the dynamically moving contamination, enemy factions, and player squads by night. So this actually caught my eye because obviously I enjoy The Division. I've had fun with both of them, to be honest. Division 2 is actually pretty good, and it's still getting support now, which I'm surprised by. But the thing that really interests me in this is that dynamic they mentioned between day and night.
Yeah.
Where essentially daytime is like your typical normal Division experience, and nighttime is basically the map turns into the Dark Zone.
Yeah, I like that a lot actually, because that's like the Dark Zone is my favorite. I don't know if it is my favorite like actual execution of the game, but it's my favorite concept in the game. Like I really want to like it. Yeah, and
conceptually
I think
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And like when they originally showed The Division, they showed like that demo was like a normal part of the map, and then when they got loot, they essentially became agents that were being hunted down. So I think they're sort of taking that concept and putting it into this game, because like Division 2 and Division 1 were like, oh, this section of the map is where you can do the PvP, but the rest of it, like you can just kind of chill and get your crazy good gear. But in Division Heartland, it's like, no. We're sort of doing like a Tarkov-esque style where At nighttime, PvP is activated. There's rogue agents. The best gear is out at night, and you gotta watch your back because people could betray you for your gear.
My only sorry, real quick.
Yeah, it's all right.
My only worry about this is that with lobby matchmaking, like if it's possible to join at night and you don't want to do night stuff, do you just have to wait around, or do you matchmake into an actual like Tarkov match at the start? Or yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there is a hub area that you're in at the beginning, and I believe you can like. It may be how Tarkov works, where you select the time of day that you're entering into.
Yeah, okay. That
Like
would
there's
be
a server,
really good,
there's
actually.
a nighttime server and there's a daytime server, and then it eventually, when you're in daytime, it eventually turns to night.
Yeah, I like that.
Luka, what's your experience with Division? I think you did play Division 1.
Division, I played both. I played Division 1 and 2 with you guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for remembering all the fond memories. I don't know that we actually finished Division 2 though, but we got very close.
I definitely did.
Yeah,
I don't think. I think at that point some of us dropped off.
The squad kind of fell apart by the end. But
I remember the final mission.
I remember the final mission of the DLC. That's stuck in my brain because it was that's the Twitch clip of me getting completely pummeled by like.
Oh, was that the DLC?
That was the DLC.
That's the one I
that was
remember.
Warlords
remember
of
that.
New York.
I remember that. Yeah,
we were gonna play a game, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I just got to finish."
I remember watching that stream. Yeah,
and it was like, "Holy shit, bro! This is
such
ridiculous,
a lackluster
man."
mission too. It was just
about
like. Anyway,
but no, I enjoyed the Division. I think out of the looter shooters I played, is probably one of my favorites.
I agree with that.
Like other looter shooters, I don't really get into the end game, but I enjoy the campaign quite a bit.
And I think this will be interesting because it's and the fact that it is free to play interests me because it's sort of like a double-edged sword. Like if it's free to play, can you then spend money to expedite the grinding process?
Yes,
because that would be lame. It will probably be that way. But I imagine if it's just like you can expedite like character progression on a second or third character if you want to do that, that's okay. Like Destiny even does that, where it's like if you don't want to play through a lot of the kind of early game stuff, you can just pay to skip it. Time saver stuff's fine to me.
Make it like Destiny does it.
Where
they like every 6 months to a year or however often they do it, they release like a DLC package that has more content, and you'll kind of get left in the dust if you don't buy it.
I wonder if I hope the content is all free and it's just their monetization is just based on cosmetics and battle passes, which is fine. Like, am I kind of getting sick of battle passes? Sure. You know,
it's a good compromise.
Do I still buy them? Sure, of course I do. I keep buying these fucking things, and then I don't finish them. Like, shit, I bought the fucking Call of Duty Season 2 Battle Pass. What's level 5 on that? Season's over. Fuck me. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just keep buying. I'm like, oh, it's a cool progression track if I play this game, and then I just don't. So I think I'll be a bit smart about Division Heartland and not buy the Battle Pass immediately. Scope it out a little bit first, and then see how I feel about it. I'm definitely intrigued. I hope it's coming soonish because I want to try it out. I want to see how it plays.
Yeah.
They've actually this got leaked ages ago. Like there was like a playtest gameplay leak from like early last year, and that was the first time we'd heard about it. And then they officially announced it like mid last year. So it's been in development, I believe, for a decent amount of time. So could release this year maybe. I think the good thing about a free to play game is it doesn't have to necessarily release on like a hotspot. Like it doesn't have to release at the end of the year with everything else. It can just release on a random Tuesday in like July, and it's like, well, it's free to play. They can just own the moment, I guess.
Especially with this sort of game, it's not like
totally
doesn't need to fit in.
I will say I'm a little disappointed that this isn't Division 3 because I kind of do dig that, just like the classic go through a campaign kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Co-op. There's not enough co-op campaigns out there.
There definitely isn't. There needs to be more 5+ player co-op campaigns. That's what I've noticed. That like when there's 5 of us, it's basically fucking impossible to find a game outside of a survival game, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is unfortunate because survival games can get a little long in the tooth, for sure. Any final thoughts on this? I'm gonna say I'm decently excited, but it's not. I'm intrigued more than anything. I'm not like genuinely anticipating it, I guess.
I'm looking forward to it, but not like my expectations are going to be kept low for this one.
Yes, no, that is. I think with all Ubisoft games, it's especially at the moment, that is the right way to go about it because like. Anyone play Roller Champions, dude? Fuck yeah, dude. Love that game. You have heard
Sorry,
of that?
what?
It was the roller derby PvP game. You didn't hear about this?
Roller Champions.
No one did. What about
So
this?
Ubisoft is just absolutely blundering when it comes to
They
marketing.
just released
Like,
shit. They're just like, oh
They
fuck
just
it, we'll just
release
release
shit without telling anyone.
What about the
Good God.
Settlers New Frontier or some shit? It's like an RTS game. No
I
one
heard about that. I heard about that.
You really heard about that? I told you about it.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's why.
The only reason I know about it is because when I went to the Ubisoft app, it was like Settlers New Frontiers 50% off. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit, it's 50% off. No one heard about it. Anything about it. Anyways, let's talk about games that people have heard about. Who would like to talk about their game that they've been playing this week first?
I'll go on one if you would like.
Which would you like to go?
Start with Minecraft. We'll start on the low note.
I was going to start on the lower, start on the high.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan, tell us about Minecraft Legends.
Yes, Minecraft Legends. So, if you remember from the last episode or the one before, or whenever we talked
at some
about
point,
this, yeah, I said I was excited to play this, and I thought it was going to be not the next big thing, but actually kind of exciting to play. Yeah, I was wrong. It's not good.
Yeah,
I really couldn't have been more wrong about it. It's not what I was expecting. I still really like the idea of it, and like what's showing on screen now is my favorite part of the game, where you get to build like a defensive base, but it's extremely repetitive. There's not really that much to it. I thought that there was going to be a lot of freedoms in like how you built your army, but it's heavily restricted on so many levels that you just can't do what you want to do. Like you feel like you should be able to, but it doesn't let you do it. And I understand that it's a game made for kids, and I think that's why, but it doesn't hit in the way that the other RTS games do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do think like the very short amount of time that I played this game, I think the restrictions were almost like immediately noted, where like the fact that we're playing 4 of us and we have 20 units between 4 people
Total, yeah.
Even for one person, that's too few. But like,
I thought it was too few for one. Yeah.
For 4, it's just like constantly one of us was just like, oh, I got no units. Like I got nothing. I guess I'll go fucking mine for resources. Like
you just go around and you're swinging your sword.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a less fun third-person action game.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It doesn't. And this is already a genre that I'm not the most familiar with, but also fond of. Like, I've played. I guess the closest thing is like I used to play Age of Empires when I was like younger, and like I remember everyone fucking loaded up Age of Empires on like the computer lab computers. And we were just playing like over like we weren't even. I think we were just still doing like versing the computer because we didn't know how to connect to each other's games because we were fucking we were kindergarten, man. Like we had no idea what we were doing.
You would play for about 10 minutes before people started busting out cheat codes, and then
exactly. And also you'd have to like Alt Tab or just like minimize the windows when the teacher walked past, so they knew you would like make sure you weren't.
Oh, we would play at lunchtime.
Oh yeah, no, we were definitely doing it in class. We were just like,
I
don't want to do this fucking like. Did you ever play that game in school where it was like the keyboard typing practice? I would do that. Yeah, and so that was literally what we were doing in computer lab. It's like, fuck, I don't want to do this shit. Who gives a shit? I'll just touch time. And then we just played Age of Empires. So that was my only like real experience with that. So with that being said, this was definitely it was definitely an uphill battle for this to resonate with me. And it does not. Like it's as you said, it's very restrictive. It is very much built as like a beginner's kind of strategy game. And I think that's great for people who, but I also think that's an uphill battle for kids. Like, I don't necessarily think that this is going to hit the same for a younger audience that Minecraft Dungeons does. Because, like, as you know, while you are controlling a character, it is very much like, it feels very passive to me. Even though you are controlling someone, it still feels like you are just going to the enemy, especially when you're attacking. You go to the enemy, like, front lines, and then you just click your units, and then they kind of go in there and they slowly die, and then you get more units, and then you do the same thing, and it is just that cycle of repetition that just kind of bored me, to be honest.
Super boring. I've
Yeah,
got some
no,
other
yeah,
like
go
notes
ahead.
of smaller things that annoyed me. That was the big overarching shit. Um, the unit rallying, you know how it's like it's got a really small like circle when you like you
Yes.
wave your flag to get people to follow you.
Yeah.
Very, very small circle on the ground. And so if you have units in battle and you want them to do something new, you have to go in there to get them. You can't just like call them out. You have to like physically
Mm,
run in there, grab them, and tell them what to do. And also,
totally.
once you've told them what to do, they won't stop doing that until you tell them what to do again. So you're constantly going back and forth if they're not dead by the time they get in there anyway, because we
Totally.
found that was happening. Um,
Absolutely.
and it that sort of thing makes it so you can't really be doing two things at once, which I think kind of destroys an RTS game. Because I feel like doing more than one thing at once is part of the strategy of an RTS. It's
It's like the overwhelming feeling, right?
like having to manage so much shit that you've got to try and like win. Yeah,
You're like micromanaging, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
micromanagement, and there is really none of that in this.
Not at all. No.
It's just kind of like a war of attrition. Like you got to hope that you got enough lapis to make units.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
just kind of like you're kind of the lapis is almost like a counting down how long you have until you basically need to stop fighting.
Pretty
And
much.
so you're just
yeah.
you're trying to like beat the time essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a time rush kind of thing, especially on the harder difficulty that we're playing on.
That's
for
pretty
co-op.
much only on legendary,
Yeah.
whatever that is called. But
I
on
believe
the
legendary,
easier
yeah.
ones, it's you definitely never run out of lapis. Um, the the campaign's pretty simple. It's just like you have to try and take down some like nether portals to stop the piglins. There's one there on screen.
Mhm.
You have to take like I think 9 of these down or something like that, and then every night they'll target another village. So you have to go and protect that village. Maybe it's not every night. I don't know, but it's basically just this mix of kill nether portal, go defend village, kill nether portal, go defend village, and there's not enough differentiation between any of it for it to be fun. And I honestly thought there would be, but so
So do
I
you
think
think,
that's all
because I
I've
know
got.
you didn't, did you finish the campaign or you got a
Oh
decent way
god, no,
through it?
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
no.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
got about
there
5
is
hours.
more complexity when you're at the end of the campaign in terms of what you can do?
Yeah, the further you get in, the more complex it gets because you have more unlocks and you've got more
Sure.
like different types of units. But I
It's still
can
capped at
see where
20.
it's going. Yeah, exactly. The cap is what kills it, and yeah, I can see where it's going. It's not going to get any more like majorly
No.
more complex. It's
Yeah,
basically
and
the same thing.
I think it is a matter of like they just wanted to keep this very user friendly.
Yeah,
But with that, you kind of have the negative effect of it being sort of easy to learn, easy to master, I think.
very. Yeah,
There's not a lot of I think the skill ceiling isn't very high in this game because they've sort of like made it that way to just let everyone have a good experience. And by doing that, it means that you have a good experience for a shorter amount of time, I think, because then you just kind of get bored. I don't know.
yeah,
That was at least our experience with it.
yeah. I mean, I got bored in the first hour of playing it, like you guys did. So yeah,
It was definitely, but as I said, it was a very much an uphill battle for me to enjoy this game. So I got to say, there are definitely people that are enjoying it. There
Yeah.
is some positive aspects. I think the art style's cute, and I think it works
I like
pretty
it.
well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what I appreciate is that it's sort of easy to tell, like from a visibility standpoint, what's going on. Sometimes it can get a little in the weeds when you're attacking and there's a lot of piglins on screen, but for the most part, when you're, when you're near like netherrack and it will hurt you, or when there's vines or the spiky vines on the ground or whatever. And when you're in sort of like more chill scenes, I think it does a good job of like conveying what your kind of surroundings. So from that aspect, I think it does a good job, and I like the cutscenes too. I think they're well done as well.
Yeah, it's a cutesy game.
But yeah, as you said, like it's just the limitations I think really limit the fun, at least from for us, I'd say. But if you're like under 12, I think you'll probably have a good time with this. But also, it might even be too complex for like a kid. Like
it's this middle ground.
We played Age of Empires. No.
Yeah, but
That's
I
true.
played it badly. Like I wasn't good at it. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I just like making the little men move around and like chop wood and shit. Like I didn't know what I was doing.
think I
wasn't
lost
tutorializing
every
at all.
single game of Age of Empires against the
Oh,
computer.
absolutely. I don't think I got past like I probably gave up like halfway through every game. I was like, oh, I'm done with this now. Like my fucking child brain was like, no, I can't stand this. Give me Halo. So yeah, any final thoughts on that? Just I mean, the good thing is it's on Game Pass, so
Yeah, it's free, so
try
there's
it.
no risk if
Give it
you're
a
already
shot.
subscribed. It's chill.
I wonder if Microsoft is a little bit scared that a lot of people when they talk about their games is like it's on Game Pass, so like there's no reason not to try it. Like from like a negative standpoint, where it's like
yeah.
you might find it's crap, but you know it's on Game Pass. Like there's no reason to buy it because like that's too much of a risk for Microsoft games. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I've
think
sort
they
of felt
see
that
that
way
as
a
a
little
boon for Game Pass.
Yes, but oh man, I don't know. I think I hope that Microsoft starts making games that are worth it to be purchased, but also are on Game Pass. You know what I mean? I feel like we haven't
Yeah.
gotten to that point yet, except for
Been a little bit.
like a game like Hi-Fi
For the
Rush
indies.
and indies. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think like Microsoft first party, like I can't think of. I mean, obviously the Forza games are great as well, but I mean, I'm just looking for Sony's like first party third person action adventure games. Like I just want one of those on Game Pass, you know, as like a really big boon for the service in general. Luca, do you want to actually, you know what? We'll save yours because you've got one game. I'll go and then you can go and then Nathan can go and then I can go. Does that make sense?
And then I can go home.
Well, then we got to just 100.
Just kidding. I'll be here all night.
So
3-hour podcast. Let's do it.
I'll quickly talk about my time in Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores.
Ooh.
So yeah, so played this. This came out last week on the 19th, I believe. So yeah, I've been playing this on the weekend. I finished it. I picked a really great point for the. Yeah. Anyway. All right, RPG. It's got some bugs, got some glitches. So yeah, I will say for context, I left Horizon Forbidden West a little bit soured on the overall experience. And I think that was due to two factors. I think it was the ending was I didn't like at all. I thought it was like such sequel bait, kind of like stay tuned for the next entry without really capping off the game in a satisfying way, to me at least. And the second thing was it came out like a week before Elden Ring. So I played a bunch of Horizon, then I played all of Elden Ring, and then I came back to Horizon and I was like, fuck, this is like the problem with Horizon is that it's sort of very safe in a lot of its systems and the way it works as an open world RPG, that when you have a game like Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring, and Horizon loves to release next to those games, it kind of just pales in comparison in that way. And it's kind of hard not to compare them because they're both, all three of those games, open world, action adventure, RPGs, massive worlds with side quests and characters and cool locations and cool combat. And it just sort of like, it's just a natural kind of comparison, especially after playing them in sequence, basically, one after another. So I was pleasantly surprised that playing Burning Shores, I had a fucking fantastic time with this DLC.
Hell yeah.
A lot of the time, DLC, I'm not really a DLC person. Like, I feel like a lot of the time I'll end up getting like the big edition with the season pass, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I can't wait to play all the DLC like a year later, and then I never do because I'm like, I'm kind of done with the game at that point, and I'm moving on to something new. But this is one of the rare circumstances where I think the DLC is worth it for every player of Forbidden West to play, and I think it's worth it as a reason to actually play Forbidden West to then experience Burning Shores, which is very rare for me for when it comes to DLC. And I think DLC in general is kind of, there's only a few kind of examples I can think of. I think like the Witcher 3 DLCs in that same vein. And also From Software's DLC is usually pretty good, especially Bloodborne's DLC is great. But those are the only two examples I can think of off the top of my head. There's other examples, of course, but so yeah. So the big draw of Burning Shores is you're sort of getting end game content. So as opposed to a lot of the DLC sort of being like a reset in a way, you're just building off of where you kind of left in Forbidden West, which means you have your flying mount, which means the map is built around having a flying creature as to traverse it, which is great because like a lot of the time you get a really cool upgrade in a game and then you'll finish that game, and then you won't get to really use that upgrade a whole lot. But the good thing about Burning Shores is that you have this really cool tool that you can actually utilize, and the environment is built around that. So you have there's a really great sense of verticality in kind of the environments and the way the Burning Shores is structured. And if you don't know, the Burning Shores is set in LA, so you have a lot of sort of like touch points, sort of, that you can see LA. Like for me, I couldn't immediately recognize it. I think the only thing that really made it really recognizable is obviously the Hollywood sign. I'm sure people in America would be like, "Oh, that's LAX," sort of, and that's like maybe a skyscraper in LA. I'm not sure. But yeah, the Hollywood sign is a prominent kind of piece of the environment that you see a lot in the missions. In terms of length, I'd say it took me about 6 hours to do the campaign, which is pretty decent for a DLC, I'd say. And I haven't 100%ed it, but I think 100%ing it would probably land around the 12 to 15 hour mark if you want to do everything, which I think is it's a really great deal for a DLC that's $30. Like, I think that's totally fair. And from like a story perspective, I think Burning Shores sets up some really interesting, cool, like the future of Horizon. Horizon 3 got announced this week, so this is continuing on to like build towards that in a way that is also like building to that next game, but also is satisfying as an expansion story. And there's definitely some people that are very mad about this game, and I'm happy that they're mad because they make some cool decisions with Aloy as a character. They give her some personality. She's not so like stern and just like really fully like focused on her quest. She's like a little more playful, and she'll like quip jokes, and she just feels more like a character in this DLC after Forbidden West, which I really appreciated. And yeah, it's just Horizon's a fun game to play. Like, I just think the gameplay is still really, really solid. There's a couple of new machines, and really enjoy my time with it. Definitely think it's worth it. So
I've seen why the gamers are mad with Aloy though.
yeah, so I don't want to spoil it because it's like at the end of the game, and it's an important story moment that people of a certain group is mad at. But fuck them, like, yeah, I know. The capital G gamers, I wonder why they're mad. But yeah, it's just cool that they're fleshing out Aloy as a character. Like, she feels, and I hope this continues in Horizon 3, and they don't like regress, and she's like, oh, I'm really scared about Nemesis, and like she's really focused on Nemesis as opposed to just shooting the shit sometimes, like saying jokes, making funny little.
Am I seeing quick looting in this footage?
Yes, so that is cool. That's a cool accessibility addition. So, and it's weird thing is it's only available on PS5 because they only updated the PS5 version. That's another thing. This DLC definitely takes advantage of the PS5 because it's only on PS5. You cannot play this DLC on PS4.
Nice.
And like a lot of the marketing was around like this big enemy that you fight. And boy, did that deliver, dude. This has maybe
that's right.
Like genuinely one of the best boss fights I've like visually seen in a game. Like, I was like just so invested at the end, and there's just like so many cool fucking shots. Like, it's Luka, you got to play this DLC. Like, just for the last mission, like it is so just like awe-inspiring, and it's like, holy shit, like if this is what they're doing with this game, like I can't even imagine what the stuff they're going to pull with Horizon 3 on PlayStation 6, PS5 at the end of life cycle. I don't know. I'm not sure where that is going to line up, but yeah, I really enjoyed my time with it. Really good stuff. And
you definitely sold me.
It's real good stuff. Nathan. Oh wait, no, Luka.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a little game called Tunic? And actually, I need to switch to Tunic.
Yeah, I was like, bro, you might want to get ready for that.
Yeah, I forgot that was the videos. My bad. No. Go back to more Horizon gameplay. Yeah, tell me about Tunic.
So, my goal here is to sell you two guys on Tunic because I reckon you would actually really like this game. So it appears to be in that recent genre that sprung up of 2D Zelda inspired isometric action games with like dashes of Soulsborne in them, along the lines of like Death's Door or Hyperlight Drifter.
Totally.
And this game is I think it's a great iteration on that genre. Like, as one of those games, I think the exploration is excellent. The map design is really excellent. It has this really like cryptic feel to it. You have no idea what's going on at any point, except I know what's going on now. But
is this the game that the developer made their own language?
Yes. And so where it differs from those other games in the genre is that you have this instruction manual that you are finding pages of throughout the game. And so it is basically like a old school strategy guide that you would get for like an NES game or something.
Nice.
And most of it is in this strange runic language that you can't understand. And then some parts are in English. And so you have to kind of pick up clues from context and understand what's going on. And you have to use it to solve puzzles in the game world. But not like obvious like Zelda puzzles, more like puzzles of how does this game mechanic work? Let me check the manual and see if I can figure it out through that. And where the game gets really interesting is the high scale, like macro level puzzle solving of the end game. Where I would compare it to something like Outer Wilds or The Witness.
Okay, you immediately piqued my attention. You got me.
I've recently just solved the final puzzle of this game, and it was incredible. I am literally getting chills right now thinking about it.
I am literally wrecked thinking about this.
I will say this isn't too much of a spoiler for the end game, but I will say that like you can learn to decipher the runic language, and you don't need to finish the game, but you can, and it makes it a bit easier. And like I put in the work to decipher that thing. It is not an easy cipher, and it was so fucking rewarding. And like going through the manual and like decoding everything afterwards is like it was a really great experience. But then if you don't want to do all that cryptic puzzle stuff, it totally operates as a regular Zelda-like adventure game on its own, with light puzzles in the strategy guide.
How are the trophies? Is it easy to get the platinum?
I don't know. I haven't really checked.
Okay. Because that might sway me, because I might get it on PlayStation just for the trophies. Because I know it's on Game Pass, but like I think I prefer to play it on PS5. Does it have the does it feature like the trigger stuff and the haptic feedback? Do you know? Does it feel weird when you're using the controller? Get all those tingles?
It feels pretty normal when you're using the controller. I'm playing.
The tingles in a good way, because you know how like when you have like the trigger stops and
yeah, you get that nice like haptic feedback in combat.
Okay, that's
which combat is like the one element that I think isn't the strongest. That's where something like Death's Door or Hyperlight Drifter is a bit stronger, but it's still fun enough. The bosses are pretty challenging. They're definitely the most challenging thing about the game, like gameplay wise.
Sure.
But then, to me, the main draw that I think you guys would be sold on is that big level puzzle solving.
I'm definitely going to play this game. It's been on my list.
I really recommend it for that.
Yeah. I've got so many like smaller indie games that I've got to play. That's like, there's just so many good games now. It's like impossible to get through everything, basically.
That sense of discovery isn't just in the end game either. You get that sprinkled just throughout the game. When you just realize basic elements of the game and figure out how they work, you get that really good like aha moment that you get.
How long is it? Like how long did it take you to like get to the like finishing the final puzzle?
That's a good question, because I've spread it across like a couple weeks. I have not looked at my stats. I want to say at least 20 hours for the final puzzle, and that's to get the true ending.
Okay,
you can totally beat the game normally, but again, I would recommend
the true ending's the way to go. Yeah.
If you want to get the really good puzzles.
I've always loved like when like every time this game was shown, I think it was mainly at like Xbox events. Like I love the art style. Like I love how like the simple kind of look to it. And I really dig that your little fox friend, and like I'm sure there's a lot of lore and story around it, but it's just cool. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, it's quite simple in its story presentation, but that's very effective. And there are some like bone chilling story moments without a word of dialogue. It's one of those kind of
Bone
games.
chilling. I'm just
Bone
imagining it
chill-
being
like,
like,
seriously.
oh.
like yeah,
Brr.
those moments.
I'm terrified.
Suddenly
by
gets cold.
Yeah.
But you know those moments where you're like, oh, holy shit, I did not see any of this coming right now.
What's the environment variety like? Because I know we're seeing, obviously, I've seen a lot of this environment in particular, like the grassy plains.
This is the overworld.
Okay.
There are definitely other environments. There's mines. There's there is a lot of like kind of grassy, watery areas.
It's taking a
there's
page from
dark
like old
forest.
school Zelda, right? Like obviously.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like dungeons and crypts,
Sure.
and interior environments as well. And then there's some stuff that I really don't want to spoil, but there's
Fair enough.
also some really awesome environments.
Cool. I'm definitely gonna play this game. It's been on my list
I'm
for
gonna check it
ages.
out.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and it's on Game Pass,
It's
Nathan.
free.
So
Yeah.
it's a good place to start there. But yeah, hell yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited. I'm glad
Very
that you
nice.
dug it because I've been waiting to hear some impressions about it from people. So good
It
stuff.
is worth the time.
Worth the time.
Definitely.
That's the worth the time seal of approval. Nathan, you want to go? Or I want to go.
I'll go.
Okay.
Keep it close to Minecraft
Sure.
because it's kind of segue off that.
Yeah, tell us
anyway,
about
yeah,
Dune Spice Wars.
Dune Spice Wars came out a while ago in early access. I think it is releasing 1.0 later in the year. But as a bit of a palate cleanser to get away from Minecraft Legends, because my goodness, this is an RTS game that I already knew was good and I knew I already liked it. So
Nice.
thought I might just go back and play some more. I think I played like 45 hours of it so far. So I'm no,
Okay.
yeah. And I think I did like 40 hours of it within the first 2 weeks.
Right. So what are you doing
so
in the
I've
game
played a lot.
now? Like, so after,
Just keep playing.
so is it like, so in terms of modes, like you've done the campaign.
There is no campaign yet. They
Okay.
just announced that today. Actually, there's been a coming soon thing on the main page, but they just announced that is going to act as their campaign today.
Right. Okay, cool.
Um,
So
which
what's
is
the
awesome.
mode like? Is it just like Age of Empires, like versus
Yeah,
the computer
classic,
and versus players?
1v1v1v1,
Right.
up to 4, I think it is, and then there's a 1v1 mode as well. That is a little bit different, but pretty much the same concept. Yeah, where it's just a normal RTS where people verse each other.
Cool.
But yeah, campaign to come. The replayability I think is really good because you have now 5 factions, 5 different win conditions, and 4 different like upgrade trees that you can go down as you play the game. So, and you can mix any of those together. Like they're designed, each house is designed for a certain win condition or like a certain tech tree, but
Cool.
mixing and matching doesn't like it doesn't feel like you shouldn't be mixing and matching. Like it actually fully works to mix and match. Like there'll be some factions that really work with like a different tech tree or like a different victory condition that you thought they probably wouldn't work with. So it's really cool to like try a bunch of new strategies and see how they work with different factions and shit like that.
What's the?
It is honestly my favorite RTS game. I love it. It's
Damn.
dope.
Okay. I praise. So, as someone who is stupid and is not an RTS person, what is the tutorial system like in this game at the moment, or should I just wait for the campaign?
I don't think there is one. They did mention that in the update log today that they were gonna. That's something they're working towards in 1.0 when the campaign comes out, is like a proper tutorial system. Because I do remember having to Google some stuff when this came out, but obviously haven't. I already know about it now. There's those classic like in-game pop-ups, you know, the ones where it's like you should do this now, you should do this now. That's enough usually to get you going, and then you Google like specifics on how you think you want to build your strategy. So I didn't have to do too much, but apparently they're working on something a bit more substantial for people who don't know too much about RTSs or want to know more about how this game's functions.
Right there, that's me.
Yeah.
Right there. but I think I still am feeling like I want to drop into this because like after watching Dune the movie, and I know this is based on the book universe, so it's not like you're not
Similar
seeing,
enough.
It's similar enough, but you're not seeing like when they show like house. Like what's
Atreides.
Yeah, thank you. It's not, you're not seeing
Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, that's the man.
No.
That's the man.
There's no Timothée Chalamet in the game.
But I will say there is a Dune fucking survival MMO coming out that's based on the movie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I was so disappointed when they announced it because it's like, oh fuck yeah, Dune, and then it's like, a new survival MMO, and I'm like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Like, choose any other genre, make it an action adventure game, dude. I'm a basic bitch, please. Just give me some story. But yeah, no, that's I also love, like, I feel like a lot of RTS games look a bit boring, but this looks interesting. Like, just the
I
way
really like
the
the look of
aesthetic is
this, yeah.
really nice. Like, I think that's something that I
Yeah.
picked up on. Like, even just looking at the screenshots on like the Steam page, I'm like, this game looks really nice.
Yeah, art style is perfect. Something else I really do like about it is the AI aren't complete dog shit. They
Okay.
know what they're doing. So like if they send an army at you to try and take one of your cities or towns or whatever, they'll like and you send your entire army at them to defend it, they'll like recognize once they see your people, they'll be like, holy shit, that's way too many people for us to attack for.
Right.
And they'll just flee. They'll back up because they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna lose this fight. We recognize that. Sometimes if it's really close, they'll stay, but a lot of the time, depending on the faction, obviously, and what powers they have and stuff like that. But a lot of the time, if you send enough force at them when they're trying to attack you, they will just flee because they'll realize this is not a winning battle, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Stuff like that.
They don't just mindlessly they're just
they
like,
don't just mindlessly send shit at you.
keep fight, not doing what we did in Minecraft Legends. Keep fight.
Keep fighting. And they seem to know when you're most preoccupied or like in a war with someone else. They'll be like, oh, yep, time to fuck him up.
Monka, they're learning.
Yeah.
They know. They know when you're most vulnerable.
But yeah, it's on Game Pass. So for anyone out there who hasn't played it, give it a go.
Gotta give it a go.
Game. Yeah.
I will say I might. So is the campaign going to be like a story, or is it just like a way to like tutorialize the game? Do you know?
It's probably less story based, more. I'm not sure that there'll be like a full. I'm not sure the tutorial is attached to the campaign.
Right.
I think it will definitely feed into it a little,
Okay.
but I think it's more based on just like getting gameplay that feels like it's a little different every time.
Yep.
So maybe they'll have like different areas, or like you start in a certain. Actually, yeah, a good way to explain it. Halo Wars campaign.
Yep.
You know how you start in different areas, or like you start in a situation where you have to defend something.
Yep.
I feel like it might be a bit like that.
Yeah, cool.
They haven't really said much, but I think that's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah, because I believe it's called Conquest Mode.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Because I did because when I saw that this was in the doc, I was like, oh, look a little bit of what's going on with Dune Spice Wars, and I did see that it's they said they're on track to release this year, and that Conquest Mode will act as their campaign. So cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. I just keep showing me all these awesome games. I'm like, I gotta check this out. I gotta check this out. It's like, man,
Never
Jedi never happens because Jedi Survivor's coming out tomorrow. I can't wait to play it at 25 FPS. Very excited for that. Jesus. All right. Well, I think it's time to talk about a little, bit of an indie gem. You know, no one really talked about this game, and there wasn't like a massive preview about it on today. Let's talk about Breath of the Wild a little bit. But like, here's the thing, right? It's like what hasn't been said about Breath of the Wild. I'm basically bringing it up because I'm just like, I'm so excited for Tears of the Kingdom.
This is the Tears of the Kingdom hype check.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I'm trying to finish Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and I don't think it's happening. Because
Have you finished it before?
I have finished it before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is another playthrough. This is a second playthrough. I've done 60 shrines. I have the Master Sword, and I haven't done any of the Divine Beasts yet.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm just doing full on like not doing any main path at all. Just doing pure exploration and like finding new stuff and like every time I see a character with a side quest, I pick it up and I'm just doing the side quests and seeing the stuff that I haven't. Because when I did my first playthrough, I was very much like upgrade as much as possible to then do Divine Beast to then do Ganon, and it wasn't. My playthrough was only like 65 hours, the first time around. And now I'm about 35 hours into a new playthrough. So little over halfway from where I was, from where I was the first time around. I mean, this game is just like, I think what's so impressive about Breath of the Wild is that at almost every point, I feel like I can do literally whatever I want. Like there's just this level of freedom that so many open world games, even though you have the whole, like, you can go anywhere, it doesn't really feel like it in a way that Breath of the Wild does. Like it's
Yeah,
literally
for
like
sure.
you in every scenario, like traversal, combat, exploration, questing, you just have full control of the situation. You know what I mean? And there's obviously different scenarios where that is not the case.
What is this guy doing?
Oh, he's cleared that compendium, man. He's got to do
Oh,
it.
okay.
A bull.
Taking pickies.
Fucking, you fucking dropped the paddle. And yeah, like because I remember the first time I'm playing this game, I was like, man, these towers are really hard to get up. For some reason, I just had such difficulty with some of the, what are they called? Like the towers you link up.
Yeah,
with
yeah, the
Yeah,
Sheikah
yeah.
Towers. Some of
But
them
this-
are really tough in the
Yeah.
early game when you try and
Bro,
tackle
it's
them.
crazy. I had like 1.5 bars of stamina, and I was able to do every tower. I don't know what happened this time, but like I did not have to. Like last time, my first playthrough, I had to have like 2.5 bars of stamina. I think I was just a bad
Would you
gamer.
know that I never upgraded my stamina
No
on my
shit.
playthrough?
Wait, no.
I literally didn't.
Wait, what the fuck?
That
I
would annoy
literally
me
not
so
once.
much.
You
I
made
was,
the game
I
so
was
much harder.
the chef master. That's why.
And you could do all the towers with just one
Oh,
bar.
I see,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I sometimes needed food, but honestly, for
Oh yeah, I
most
forgot about that. You
stuff,
can refill it with food. Yeah.
the game is actually designed in a way where you don't need the upgrade at all.
Huh.
Um,
Interesting.
It's obviously easier to have it, but
Yeah, there you go.
you don't need it. Never.
Man, there were some of them where I go to a tower. Like the first tower I went to was the central tower, which was the worst option because that's surrounded by guardians that
Oh,
move.
yeah, yeah.
And I was
That one
like,
will fuck you up.
surely I'll go to this
Yeah.
one. This is my first, and I did it. I got there eventually, but I had to like be really sneaky and like I would wait for the last second when they're aiming me up, and as they would shoot, I would like dip around the corner so I would dodge it. But it took a couple of goes because sometimes it like the blast radius would hit me and I'd fall off and I'd be like, "Fuck you." The game is surprisingly not difficult, but I guess like unforgiving.
Not punishing.
But yeah, not even.
I would
punishing
say
it.
it is difficult, especially in those first few hours. Like,
Yeah, especially that
when you
they
don't-
have the central tower. Like that's almost like one of the. You sort of go to the field. At least that's what I did this time. And like immediately you're in the field. It's like guardian. Like get the fuck away from this area.
It shows you like this world will fuck you around if you go to the wrong place.
There is no satisfaction like fucking parrying the guardian bolt back at them.
Yeah.
It is so cool. And it's like it's even like there's a decent amount of timing to it. And it's definitely a small window, but I definitely feel like after playing like some of the Souls games, I'm like, oh dude, I got this fucking.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
I got this shield bash down. I got this little parry down to a science at this point. And it's so satisfying doing that. I hope there's an enemy in Tears of the Kingdom that is similar, where there's just some kind of you need to parry it to. I mean, you don't even need to. Like, you can just defeat them with guardian arrows. It's like 2.5. I guess it's 2 guardian arrows, or like 1 if you hit him in the eye, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I also the thing about this game is like finding a shrine, even though I've done them all before, is like I get this like moment. Like I see the orange and I'm like, fuck yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get over there.
New
Dude.
puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's funny because like when I did my first playthrough of this, I was like, damn, some of these shrines are really difficult. But doing it this time, I've been like, oh, this is like whenever there's water, just fucking use ice. Like if you need to get some, I'm even cheating them sometimes. I'm like, bro, I need to get the ball over there, but they want me to launch it. I can just like ice fucking like throw the ball in the water, ice it, grab it, throw it, and then just do that to get to where it needs to go. Like,
but it's not cheating because I think that's why they give you that
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
It's like,
You can
it's open for you to
do it
do
in the
that.
intended way, or you can like sidetrack it if you want to.
That's why I like it so much.
Yeah, it's just there's so many different options to do puzzles that you would think would just be like, and in other open world games, it's like, no, you do this way. We have designed it specifically for you to do it this way, to be here at this time. That is how we have designed it. And Nintendo's like, lol, just do whatever, man. We made this puzzle, but you can fuck it. You can just do
Tears of the Kingdom is going to have even more options.
Oh yeah,
just with the systems,
sure.
The systems going on in that game are going to be able to combine in like just the wildest ways. Like,
dude, I'm so excited for it. I feel like I'm Danny DeVito in It's Always Sunny, where like when I saw that gameplay of like when Aonuma showed the game, I was like, oh, that's cool. You can make a boat and you can like fuse stuff together. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But then seeing this preview and seeing how people are actually using it, I'm like, I get it. Like, I understand why this is gonna be so fucking dope, man. Like, it just makes sense. Like, making fucking jets and making boats and making like hot air
Making
balloons
tanks
and like
and shit.
making
Like,
tanks and like there is going to be so many fucking cool I can't wait to be on Twitter
and
when
then
this
there's the
game comes
weapon
out.
fusing system.
Dude, and that's the thing is I
You
wasn't
have
even that
those
excited for the
two
fusing.
like crazy systems
Yeah.
together.
Oh, God. And even like there's like in Tears of the Kingdom, there's like these armored enemies that you literally can't do any damage to unless you have a fused weapon. And so it's like here
Or
is
some other thing that
other way of doing it, sure.
Yeah.
But then like
they've really leveled up the enemies big time.
the cool thing is like adding like a boulder to your weapon does like plus 15 damage with it. It's like it's just it's making it's just cool. Like I feel like you're getting more powerful
like,
just with these systems.
Yeah, they're not like incremental upgrades. These are like massive additions to the gameplay that like are seriously affecting the core gameplay loop.
And the best thing is that it's lowering it's lengthening the durability of weapons too.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
That's because
you just randomly string shit together.
That's one thing I'm less annoyed by it playing Breath of the Wild for the second time now, but it has been a thing where I'm like in a fight and like some of my stuff's breaking. I'm like, fuck, man, like, can I just kill this? Can I just kill this? What's the high knock? The big dude with the big eye.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just let me just. He's nearly dead, man. Like, let me use this 50, the Jewel of Fate or whatever the fuck. The Fate, no, something of duality. I don't know. It's a level 50 sword that is incredible, and you can do like these fucking swirls around. And it fucks them up. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited for Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm a little more nervous about my bet with Seto that I said that Final Fantasy 16 will be Game of the Year this year, not Tears of the Kingdom.
That was silly.
It was silly. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, you know,
I'm hyped for Final Fantasy 16.
I will say the previews from Tears of the Kingdom, people said it controls kind of awkward to control. So you know, maybe that's enough to be. Maybe it will. maybe performance in these dungeons will be especially bad.
It's not like Breath of the Wild is a perfect game either.
If this doesn't get a 10, I'll eat my fucking shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it definitely won't be a perfect 100.
No, definitely not.
I'm thinking it'll be
like IGN and all that.
Well, yeah, it'll get a 10, but it'll get I don't know. I feel like the thing with, and this is what I was worried about before the previews, was like hopefully the game is new enough that it's not just like you're rehashing what Breath of the Wild was, and it seems like they're not doing that at all.
I think if they add dungeons, then it'll totally be new enough. Like, just
let's hope that is the case.
Classic like Zelda style dungeons, but with these new mechanics added into them, would slap so hard. And by classic Zelda style dungeons, I just mean each of them has a different aesthetic and theme. There's mini bosses and bosses. You know, you get some kind of item in the middle, but I don't know how that would work for the open world thing. So that's flexible. But to me, the main letdown of the dungeons in Breath of the Wild is that they all have the same aesthetic and similar variations on the bosses.
Yeah,
totally. I've forgotten how the bosses
or
no
mini bosses or interesting enemies or anything like that either.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I think they got that feedback because that was like one of the loudest pieces from Breath of the Wild. Was like, this game's amazing, fantastic, like it's one of the best games ever made. But just need those dungeons, man. Just need some a little bit more variety in some of the aesthetics of the
Zelda team 100% listens to feedback as well.
Oh yeah.
Like the big criticism of Skyward Sword is that it's too linear, and then they made Breath of the Wild.
I will say, I wonder how people, because I know there were a few people in the Zelda community that didn't like the sandbox nature of Breath of the Wild and wanted a more traditional Zelda game. And Nintendo's basically been like, no, fuck that. We're doubling down on this. I wonder
because they also got even more overwhelming responsiveness, like positive feedback.
Exactly, of course. Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm super stoked for Tears of the Kingdom. But will be interesting. I mean, I think it's gonna be a tough game of the year. I really do. I think in 2017 it was more of a sure bet for Breath of the Wild than it will be this year for Tears of the Kingdom.
There'll be competition, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
From Software, Armored Core 6, you know? FromSoft, they're good developers. And you've also got Spider-Man 2, maybe? I don't know. Starfield?
Yeah.
Starfield, you know?
No.
Diablo 4? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think Diablo 4 will be nominated, but I don't think it'll win it.
Yeah.
I still got my
They'll win
bet. I
something.
honestly still have my bets on Final Fantasy 16. I really do think that game is gonna fuck. I think it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it.
That presentation they did a couple weeks back was like that fully sold me. Like I was already in because it was the team that did Final Fantasy 14, and I've heard so many good things about FF14 that I was like, I mean, whatever they end up doing is going to be incredible. So, anyways, I think it's time to wrap up, and as always, we wrap up by continuing to build our top 100 list. And this time, we are allowing Luka to add a game to the list. Who would like to go first? Nathan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's just have a quick little scroll through the list.
Scroll.
So we
Do the classic
have a
scroll.
It's a
little
good list.
reminder
That's
for
a good
everyone.
list.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Except for
I like
this.
this list.
Just ignore this one.
I
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it
Hey,
deserves to be
I
on the
haven't
list.
played it. I've heard good things.
Yeah, we haven't played
Umbrella.
it.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I played a little bit of it.
I feel like it's the sort of game I would really like if I.
Me too. No,
Committed
I
to it.
honestly like no cap.
But
Yeah.
I know it's the sort of game that you gotta. It's kind of like Undertale where you gotta get to multiple playthroughs to get like the.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes. No,
enjoyment
it's
out
like
of
you got to do ending G to really get the
Spore?
full.
Spore
That's-
is that
Spore went
the
off.
list?
That's Nathan's pick. That's Nathan's pick.
Oh my
Nathan loves
God.
Spore.
I got an 85, bro. It's a good game.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. It did get an 85. It did get an 85. That's fair. That's fair. Now, what are you
It's
adding
like
to the
15 years ago.
What are you
um,
adding?
I'm adding Yoshi's Island on the SNES because that is an
Oh,
OG,
hell yeah.
dude.
That's a good pick.
Oh,
I respect it.
I've got it.
Is Yoshi's Island, is that on Switch Online yet?
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, I played it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might play it.
I can't.
I was actually scoping out some of the Zelda
There you go.
games that are on Switch Online because I want to.
Oh, I've been replaying Ocarina of Time.
I wonder how
So
I'd
fun.
feel about Ocarina of Time.
I
Playing
don't think you would get into it. It's got
Yeah.
a slowish start.
I did try it on. I got the remaster on 3DS, but I think I stopped at. I think I was at Death Mountain. That's where I stopped, which
I think
isn't
you
very
should
far.
finish Skyward. I think you should finish Skyward Sword.
I should actually finish Skyward Sword. Yeah,
The
you're right.
padding issues aside, I think
Mhm.
the last half of that game really fucks.
I should definitely. I'm probably gonna
I'm
at this
putting
point I might have
Yoshi's
to
Island
restart.
here.
I don't know. Okay, so that's number. I can't read the number.
23.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm zoomed out a bit
Yeah,
so we
that's
can.
fine.
Yoshi's Island better than Skyrim. You heard it here first.
Absolutely. No
so
doubt
hard to
about that.
compare all of these games. It's
Yeah.
basically impossible.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of crazy that Witcher 3 is below New Horizons. Now that I'm looking at that, that seems crazy to me.
Is it a good game?
I mean,
New
it is a really good
Horizon's
game.
that high.
It is very high,
Well,
isn't it?
We've only got 30
Yeah, we're only
33
got-
games.
yeah. That's true.
It's 2/3 down the list.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's 60 something at the moment. If you
And New Horizons is above like Left 4 Dead 2. it's yeah. Anyway, we won't move anything around. We'll just add some new stuff this week.
Yeah.
I
who's next?
will add a game to the list, and I am going to add. I'm going to add Dishonored 2 to the list.
Oh yeah, nice.
I think it definitely deserves to be on this list. I fucking love Arcane.
Dishonored.
They make some of the best games ever, and Dishonored 2 I think is the best of what they've done. So and
Absolutely
maybe
respect
Redfall,
that.
who knows? Maybe Redfall next week, that might get a 90 on OpenCritic. Might be a really good game. Fantastic. I mean, who knows? I'm actually tossing up. Are we doing co-op in Redfall? Is that the plan?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I want to, but I
Might
I
miss it.
can't commit like multiple sessions per week.
Yeah, the problem with
I'm
Redfall is
moving,
that only the
full-time
host makes
work.
progress.
Got Zelda.
it's kinda
that
dog.
sucks.
You
Well,
get
if you're happy to mosey through it with me in tow, I'm down. But
I think I'm gonna do a mix of solo and in co-op. Because I've heard like from previews where like solo is actually a really good horror experience, and then co-op's more for like a fun time. And I kind of want to experience both. And I think it's gonna be one of those games where like I won't do main story stuff outside of co-op, but some of like the side stuff I might do solo, just to get a bit of
Yeah.
both. And
No,
also
I
play
think
because I
I
know
can-
it's hard to like pair up with 4 of us. So
Yeah.
it's probably I'll
Yeah.
we'll probably never finish it if we only
I think
do
I
it
can
in
definitely
co-op.
commit a few sessions before Zelda comes out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Where are you putting this game, Jamie?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let me look at the list on my screen because I can't really see it on that one, but that's fine. I am gonna put Dishonored 2 at number 24 for now. I think that's a fair spot. I don't want to overtake Yoshi's Island too soon. And I'm happy. No, I'm happy to put it there. I think that's a good spot for it. I think, yeah. No, I think I'm fucking sorted. I'm happy about it. Now, Luca, what are you adding to the
Big
list?
shoes to fill here.
All right, so here's the thing.
Are you gonna add an obscure Japanese game with interesting story elements like Seto does?
Here's the thing. This is a big honor, right? Now, I don't know if I'll ever get another chance to add to this list. I assume this will be hung up in.
I think this 3 will happen often. Anyway, yeah, go.
This list is going to be in some kind of.
Wait, okay. Before you say what game you're gonna pick, is it gonna be?
That's the thing. I have 3 picks,
okay,
and I don't know which one to choose.
I guarantee. Okay, Undertale is definitely one of them. Right?
These are 3 picks that I know for sure none of you fucks would nominate.
Undertale, Mother 3, and
Undertale's on my list.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't put it in yet.
I need to. Dude, I fucking started Undertale and then fell off, man. That's a travesty. I need to play that game. I was really enjoying it too. I don't know what the third one is, to be honest. I feel like I nailed 2 though.
All right, pick a number between 1 and 3.
3. Mother 3.
2. Mother 2.
Yeah, let's go with Mother 3.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, there was no way that was going to end up on the list without Luca putting it here. Now, now here's the thing. Now, there's a good chance wherever you put this will be, it will end up at number 100. Like,
Mother 3 is good, man. I haven't played that much of it, but
he knows. Yeah, he knows. Okay.
My other 2 choices were Zelda Twilight Princess and XCOM 2.
Yep.
What was the second one?
XCOM 2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Specifically War of the Chosen. But Mother 3, very special game in my heart. Excellent story. Pretty good combat. I'm not going to pretend it's a masterpiece of game design or anything like that, but it's a very special game to me, and I want to have it touching this list. I want it to get its juice all over this list.
It's mother juice. I don't like it at all. I don't like that. I don't know. Like that. I said those words.
Basically, if you like Undertale or Mori, as I see above it, it's got to be better than Mori because Mori wouldn't exist without the Mother franchise.
True.
Any higher than that?
Oh well, it's number 1, baby. But I'll let you guys decide where it goes. I don't know.
Hey, you got to decide. You're the
You can
placer.
decide, and we can just move it later. You know, we might move it higher. Who knows?
Anyway.
Let's put it above. Let's put it above Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Mother 3 confirmed better than The Witcher 3. Mother 3 is the best threequel. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Those are our additions to the list for the week.
Easy.
Will
Last of Us Part 2 remain at number 1? It will over my it's gonna until I die. It'll be there.
I think it should be there, if I'm honest.
I mean, I got to say, after playing Breath of the Wild for 35-ish hours, I could see a case for it being number 1. To be honest, I could see it being a very strong case for number 2.
Yeah, I'd say number 2 would be good.
I really do. Like, I'm obviously not as high on Red Dead 2 as you and Seto are, but yeah, Breath of the Wild is like special, very special.
It's good.
All right, well, the list has been expanded and we're out of stuff to talk about, so we're going to end it there. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for engaging, and while you're at it, tell us in the comments, what is your dream Star Wars game? We want to know, and I guarantee it won't be better than the 3 we picked, but we'll catch you next week with some Star Wars Jedi Survivor impressions from me and maybe Nathan. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it runs.
We'll see how it runs. If can it get above 30 FPS? You find it next week. yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.